A ripple of shifting light sweeps across the seabed, and what appeared to be a simple patch of sand suddenly erupts into motion. In a fraction of a second, the landscape itself seems to awaken, revealing a predator that had been present all along, yet completely invisible to the eye. The cuttlefish does not merely hide within its environment. It actively rewrites the visual language of the underwater world. Its body functions as a living display, capable of transforming color, texture, brightness, and pattern with astonishing speed. This ability turns deception into a dynamic process, allowing the cuttlefish to manipulate perception in real time and control how every other creature interprets the scene around it. In the shallow coastal waters and continental shelves where cuttlefish thrive, the environment is a mosaic of shifting sand, scattered rocks, and dense patches of seagrass. Sunlight filters through the water, creating constantly moving patterns that dance across the substrate. For most marine animals, this visual complexity poses a challenge, demanding constant vigilance to distinguish predator from background. For the cuttlefish, however, this chaos provides an opportunity. Its survival strategy is built upon the capacity to exploit these fluctuating visual conditions, seamlessly blending into the environment when necessary, or transforming into a spectacle of color and motion when deception requires a more assertive approach. The biological foundation of this extraordinary adaptability lies within the cuttlefish's skin, a sophisticated system composed of multiple layers of specialized cells. Chromatophores containing pigments of yellow, red, and brown expand and contract under direct neural control, enabling rapid changes in coloration. Beneath them, iridophores reflect light to produce iridescent blues and greens, while leucophores scatter ambient light, allowing the animal to match the brightness of its surroundings. This multi-layered arrangement grants the cuttlefish an unparalleled capacity to manipulate its appearance. Unlike many forms of camouflage that rely on hormonal or slower physiological changes, the cuttlefish's transformations occur in milliseconds, guided by one of the most advanced nervous systems among invertebrates. This immediacy allows it to respond to environmental cues with remarkable precision, selecting the most effective visual strategy for any given situation. Yet the cuttlefish's deception extends far beyond static camouflage. It possesses the ability to generate dynamic skin patterns, including traveling waves of light and dark that sweep across its body. These moving displays serve multiple ecological functions. During hunting, such patterns can overwhelm the sensory processing of prey, a phenomenon often described as motion dazzle. Small fish and crustaceans, already navigating a visually complex environment, struggle to interpret the rapidly changing signals, delaying their escape responses. This momentary hesitation provides the cuttlefish with the critical advantage needed to execute a swift and successful strike. The predator approaches with deliberate stealth, extending its specialized tentacles in a lightning-fast motion that captures prey before it can react. In this context, the cuttlefish's skin becomes not merely a tool for concealment, but an active weapon that disrupts the decision-making processes of its victims. The versatility of the cuttlefish's appearance also plays a crucial role in defense. When threatened, it can adopt disruptive patterns that break up its outline, making it difficult for predators to perceive its true shape. In other situations, it may display bold, high-contrast coloration accompanied by postural changes, creating the illusion of a larger and more intimidating organism. This capacity for rapid behavioral and visual transformation reflects an advanced form of adaptive signaling, where the animal assesses the nature of the threat and selects the most effective response. Such flexibility underscores a central principle of evolutionary success: the ability to modify behavior in response to changing environmental conditions. A particularly intriguing aspect of cuttlefish biology is their capacity for texture change. Through the contraction of specialized muscles beneath the skin, they can raise or flatten papillae, altering the three-dimensional structure of their body surface. This enables them to mimic not only the color and pattern of their surroundings, but also their physical texture. A cuttlefish resting on a rocky substrate can develop protrusions that resemble the irregularities of the terrain, while one positioned on smooth sand can adopt a sleek and featureless profile. This integration of color, pattern, and texture represents one of the most sophisticated camouflage systems in the animal kingdom, allowing the cuttlefish to achieve an extraordinary level of environmental integration. Beyond its visual capabilities, the cuttlefish exhibits complex behavioral strategies that enhance its deceptive repertoire. During courtship, males engage in elaborate displays, flashing rhythmic patterns across their bodies to attract females while simultaneously signaling aggression to rival males. In some species, males have been observed employing tactical deception by presenting different patterns on each side of their body, courtship signals toward a female, and neutral or camouflaged patterns toward competing males. This ability to communicate selectively demonstrates a remarkable level of neural control and social awareness, highlighting the cognitive sophistication of these cephalopods. The evolutionary origins of such advanced visual manipulation are closely linked to the ecological pressures of the marine environment. Cuttlefish occupy a middle position within the food web, serving as both predator and prey. This dual role necessitates a versatile survival strategy capable of addressing multiple threats simultaneously. Over millions of years, natural selection has favored individuals capable of more precise and rapid control over their appearance, leading to the development of the intricate chromatophore system observed today. The resulting adaptations exemplify the interplay between environmental complexity and evolutionary innovation, illustrating how selective pressures can drive the emergence of highly specialized biological mechanisms. Another dimension of the cuttlefish's survival strategy is its reliance on jet propulsion for rapid escape. When camouflage and intimidation fail, the cuttlefish can expel water forcefully through its siphon, propelling itself away from danger with surprising speed. This escape response is often accompanied by the release of a cloud of ink, which serves both as a visual smokescreen and as a chemical deterrent. Some species produce pseudomorphs, dense ink formations that mimic the size and shape of the cuttlefish, momentarily confusing predators and providing additional time for escape. This combination of visual deception and rapid locomotion ensures that the cuttlefish remains resilient even when confronted with immediate threats. The cuttlefish's influence extends beyond individual survival, contributing to the broader ecological dynamics of its habitat. As an active predator of small fish and invertebrates, it helps regulate prey populations, maintaining balance within marine communities. Its own role as prey supports higher trophic levels, including large fish, marine mammals, and seabirds. Furthermore, the cuttlefish's sensitivity to environmental changes makes it an important indicator of ecosystem health. Variations in water temperature, pollution levels, and habitat structure can significantly impact its distribution and reproductive success, reflecting the interconnected nature of marine ecosystems. Reproduction in cuttlefish introduces yet another layer of biological complexity. Females lay clusters of eggs attached to substrates such as seagrass or rocky surfaces, often selecting locations that provide optimal concealment. Remarkably, the embryos developing within these translucent eggs are capable of perceiving visual cues from their environment. Studies have shown that exposure to specific prey types can influence the hunting preferences of hatchlings, suggesting a form of prenatal learning. This early acquisition of ecological information enhances the survival prospects of juveniles, equipping them with adaptive behaviors from the moment of emergence. The neurological sophistication underlying these capabilities is supported by one of the most advanced nervous systems among invertebrates. The cuttlefish's brain is highly developed, enabling complex behaviors such as learning, memory, and problem-solving. This cognitive capacity allows the animal to refine its responses based on experience, further enhancing the effectiveness of its deceptive strategies. The integration of sensory input, neural processing, and rapid physiological change represents a pinnacle of evolutionary innovation, positioning the cuttlefish as one of the most intelligent inhabitants of the marine realm. As dusk settles over the seabed, the interplay of light and shadow intensifies, and the cuttlefish resumes its silent patrol. Its body shifts seamlessly between patterns, each transformation tailored to the demands of the moment. To the casual observer, it may appear as nothing more than a fragment of the environment. Yet beneath this facade lies a master of perception, an organism capable of manipulating the visual reality of the ocean. The final image is one of quiet dominance, a predator that does not rely on brute force, but on the ability to control what others believe they see. In this continuous dance of illusion and revelation, The cuttlefish embodies the essence of adaptive deception, demonstrating that in the intricate theater of the sea, survival often belongs to those who can most effectively shape the perceptions of others. A motionless lump of sponge suddenly inhales a fish so quickly that the event is almost impossible to perceive. One moment, a curious damselfish hovers beside what appears to be a harmless patch of encrusted reef. The next, it has vanished without a trace, as if erased from existence. There is no visible chase, no dramatic struggle, and no warning of impending danger. The predator responsible is the frogfish, an animal that has perfected the art of deception to such an extent that it spends most of its life masquerading as the very scenery other creatures learn to ignore. Its survival depends on exploiting the assumption that stillness equals safety, transforming the reef into a landscape where the most unremarkable objects can conceal lethal intent. Within the vibrant yet chaotic ecosystems of tropical coral reefs, visual complexity dominates every aspect of survival. Sponges, algae, coral rubble, and encrusted rocks form an intricate mosaic of textures and colors, each competing for attention in a densely populated environment. For predators and prey alike, the ability to rapidly distinguish between living threats and inert background elements is essential. The frogfish exploits this cognitive shortcut by adopting a form that defies easy classification. Its body is irregular and asymmetrical, often covered with fleshy filaments known as dermal appendages that mimic the growth patterns of algae or sponge tissue. These structures, combined with a remarkable capacity for color change, allow the frogfish to blend seamlessly into its surroundings. Unlike animals that merely match their environment, the frogfish destabilizes recognition itself, ensuring that it is perceived not as a predator, but as irrelevant debris. This strategy represents an advanced example of masquerade camouflage, a form of deception in which an organism resembles an inanimate object that predators and prey habitually disregard. The frogfish's skin texture plays a crucial role in this illusion. Wart-like projections, mottled pigmentation, and irregular contours create the appearance of decay or encrustation, features commonly associated with non-living reef structures. By mimicking these characteristics, the frogfish effectively removes itself from the perceptual field of other animals. Even at close range, its presence remains ambiguous, allowing it to occupy exposed positions on the reef without attracting attention. Yet invisibility alone does not define the frogfish's predatory success. Embedded within its deceptive anatomy is a specialized hunting apparatus that transforms passive concealment into active manipulation. The first dorsal spine has evolved into a flexible rod known as the elysium, which supports a fleshy lure called the esker. This appendage can be moved with remarkable precision, mimicking the appearance and motion of small prey such as worms, shrimp, or juvenile fish. While the frogfish itself remains perfectly still, the lure introduces a subtle element of movement that captures the attention of nearby organisms. This dual-layered deception allows the frogfish to run two simultaneous scams. It first convinces potential prey that it is harmless scenery, then persuades them that the moving lure represents an easy meal. The effectiveness of this strategy is amplified by the frogfish's extraordinary feeding mechanism. Unlike predators that rely on pursuit, the frogfish employs one of the fastest suction feeding events in the animal kingdom. When prey approaches within striking distance, the frogfish rapidly expands its buccal cavity, generating a powerful negative pressure that draws water and the unsuspecting victim into its mouth. This entire process occurs in mere milliseconds, often faster than the visual processing capabilities of the prey. The jaws open and close with such speed that the event appears almost instantaneous, leaving little evidence of the attack beyond the sudden disappearance of the fish. This combination of patience, deception, and explosive action exemplifies the frogfish's unique approach to predation. Despite its lethality, the frogfish is not built for speed or endurance. Its locomotion is slow and deliberate, relying on modified pectoral and pelvic fins that function like limbs, enabling it to walk across the reef substrate. This unusual mode of movement minimizes disturbance to the surrounding environment, preserving the integrity of its camouflage. When necessary, the frogfish can also employ a form of jet propulsion by expelling water through its gill openings, allowing it to reposition itself quickly without compromising its disguise. These adaptations highlight a fundamental evolutionary trade-off. By sacrificing mobility, the frogfish gains an unparalleled capacity for concealment and ambush. Reproductive behavior introduces another intriguing dimension to the frogfish's life history. During mating, individuals must temporarily abandon their solitary and cryptic existence to locate partners. This transition from invisibility to interaction is fraught with risk, as increased movement and visibility expose them to potential predators. Once a pair has formed, the female releases a buoyant mass of eggs, often encased in a gelatinous matrix that drifts with ocean currents. This pelagic dispersal strategy enhances genetic exchange between populations and allows juvenile frogfish to colonize new habitats. Upon settling, the young gradually develop the morphological features and behavioral strategies that define their species, transitioning from vulnerable larvae to masters of deception. The ecological role of frogfish extends beyond their immediate interactions with prey and predators. As ambush predators, they influence the behavior and distribution of smaller reef organisms, contributing to the dynamic balance of coral reef ecosystems. Their presence introduces an element of unpredictability that shapes the movement patterns of prey species, indirectly affecting grazing pressures and nutrient cycling within the reef. Furthermore, frogfish themselves serve as prey for larger predators, including groupers and moray eels, integrating them into the broader trophic network that sustains marine biodiversity. A deeper exploration of the frogfish's evolutionary lineage reveals its affiliation with the family Antennariidae, a group of anglerfishes adapted to shallow marine environments. The transformation of the dorsal spine into a functional lure represents a remarkable example of evolutionary innovation, illustrating how existing anatomical structures can be repurposed to fulfill new ecological roles. Over millions of years, selective pressures favored individuals capable of more convincing masquerade and more effective luring techniques, culminating in the extraordinary diversity of forms observed among modern frogfish species. This evolutionary trajectory underscores the importance of deception as a driving force in the natural world, shaping both morphology and behavior in response to ecological challenges. The sensory capabilities of the frogfish further enhance its predatory efficiency. While its outward appearance suggests passivity, the frogfish possesses a highly developed lateral line system that detects subtle vibrations in the surrounding water. This sensitivity enables it to perceive the approach of potential prey even when visual cues are limited. Additionally, its eyes, though often camouflaged, provide sufficient visual acuity to coordinate the precise timing of its strike. The integration of sensory perception with physical disguise ensures that the frogfish remains both hidden and highly responsive to opportunities within its environment. Environmental changes pose significant challenges to frogfish populations, particularly in the face of coral reef degradation. Habitat loss resulting from climate change, pollution, and destructive fishing practices can reduce the availability of suitable camouflage environments, increasing the vulnerability of these specialized predators. As indicators of reef health, frogfish reflect the broader impacts of environmental disturbance on marine ecosystems. Their continued survival depends on the preservation of the complex habitats that support their unique adaptations. The psychological dimension of the frogfish's deception is perhaps its most compelling feature. In the visually overwhelming environment of the coral reef, organisms must prioritize their attention, focusing on stimuli that signal immediate relevance. By resembling objects that appear inert or unimportant, the frogfish exploits these cognitive biases, effectively removing itself from the decision-making processes of other animals. This manipulation of perception highlights a broader principle in evolutionary biology. Survival often depends not on physical dominance, but on the ability to influence how others interpret sensory information. As the reef transitions into the subdued hues of twilight, the frogfish remains motionless, its presence concealed within the tapestry of living and non-living textures. Small fish continue their routines, navigating the intricate landscape with no awareness of the hidden predator among them. The surrounding environment appears tranquil, yet it harbors a silent assassin whose success depends on patience and illusion. In this stillness lies the essence of the frogfish's strategy, a fusion of masquerade and precision that redefines the relationship between predator and prey. The enduring image of the frogfish is one of paradox. An organism that appears inert and insignificant, yet possesses the capacity for explosive predation. By weaponizing the assumption that the landscape is harmless, it transforms the reef into a domain of hidden threats, where the boundary between life and environment becomes indistinguishable. In this subtle yet formidable presence, the frogfish stands as a testament to the power of deception in the natural world, embodying an evolutionary masterpiece where survival is achieved not through speed or strength, but through the art of becoming something that no one thinks to notice until it is far too late. A predator's charge halts with almost mechanical precision, as if it has collided with an invisible barrier. A sleek reef hunter, accelerating toward what should be an effortless capture, suddenly veers away at the final moment, abandoning its pursuit despite the prey remaining fully exposed. The small orange fish that triggered the chase does not flee into crevices or vanish into the reef's labyrinth. Instead, it swims calmly into the waving tentacles of a sea anemone, an environment universally recognized by reef inhabitants as a lethal boundary. The predator hesitates, circles briefly, and retreats. What appears to be reckless behavior is, in reality, one of the ocean's most sophisticated ecological deceptions. The clownfish survives not by hiding, but by occupying a biological fortress that only it can safely enter, exploiting a deadly system that functions as a trap for every other creature. Within the vibrant complexity of coral reef ecosystems, survival often depends on speed, camouflage, or armor. The clownfish possesses none of these conventional defenses. Its bright coloration makes it conspicuous rather than concealed, and its modest swimming ability offers little chance of outrunning agile predators. Yet this apparent vulnerability masks a remarkable evolutionary strategy rooted in chemical communication and mutualistic symbiosis. The sea anemone, armed with thousands of stinging tentacles, creates a zone of exclusion that most organisms instinctively avoid. Each tentacle is lined with specialized cells called cnidocytes, which contain microscopic harpoon-like structures known as nematocysts. When triggered by mechanical contact or specific chemical cues, these structures discharge with extraordinary speed, penetrating the skin of intruders and injecting potent toxins that immobilize or kill. For most reef inhabitants, even a brief touch results in paralysis or death. The clownfish, however, defies this universal rule through a specialized mucus coating that alters the chemical dialogue between predator and host. Rather than stimulating the anemone's defensive response, this mucus layer suppresses nematocyst discharge, effectively rendering the fish invisible to the anemone's sensory system. This immunity is not innate at birth, but is acquired through a delicate acclimation process. Juvenile clownfish approach the anemone with extreme caution, performing a series of tentative contacts that allow them to gradually incorporate the host's chemical signature into their own mucus. Through this process, the fish becomes chemically integrated into the anemone's identity, transforming from potential prey into a recognized symbiotic partner. The deception is therefore ecological rather than visual. It operates through the manipulation of biochemical signals that determine friend from foe. Once established within the anemone's protective embrace, the clownfish gains access to a sanctuary that reshapes its entire life history. The tentacles serve as an effective deterrent against predators, creating a defensive perimeter that few species are willing to breach. This refuge allows the clownfish to devote energy to foraging, reproduction, and social interaction rather than constant vigilance. The relationship, however, is far from one-sided. The clownfish actively contributes to the well-being of its host, forming a mutualistic partnership that enhances the survival of both participants. By swimming among the tentacles, the fish increases water circulation, improving oxygenation and facilitating the removal of metabolic waste. Its presence also deters predators and parasites that might otherwise damage the anemone's tissues. Additionally, the clownfish provides nutrients through excreted waste, supplying essential nitrogen that supports the growth of symbiotic algae residing within the anemone's cells. These algae, in turn, perform photosynthesis, producing organic compounds that supplement the anemone's nutritional intake. This intricate alliance extends beyond simple cooperation, influencing the social structure and reproductive dynamics of clownfish populations. Clownfish live in hierarchical groups centered around a single anemone, with a dominant breeding pair and several subordinate individuals. The largest fish functions as the breeding female, while the next largest serves as the breeding male. Should the female perish, the male undergoes a remarkable transformation, changing sex to assume her role. This phenomenon, known as protandrous hermaphroditism, ensures reproductive continuity within the limited space provided by the host anemone. The remaining subordinates then ascend the social hierarchy, maintaining a stable and efficient system of population regulation. This reproductive strategy reflects the ecological constraints imposed by the anemone-based lifestyle, demonstrating how symbiosis can shape not only survival mechanisms, but also the fundamental organization of social behavior. A deeper exploration of the clownfish-anemone relationship reveals an additional layer of ecological influence. By concentrating activity around the anemone, clownfish create localized zones of enhanced productivity within the reef. Their feeding behavior generates organic debris that supports detritivores, while their movements attract planktonic organisms that may become prey for the anemone. This microhabitat fosters increased biodiversity, illustrating how a single symbiotic partnership can ripple outward to affect broader community dynamics. The presence of clownfish has even been shown to stimulate growth and expansion in certain anemone species, reinforcing the mutual dependence that characterizes their association. The evolutionary origins of this relationship highlight the power of natural selection to exploit ecological opportunities. Ancestors of modern clownfish likely began as opportunistic associates of sea anemones, gradually developing resistance to their stings through incremental modifications of mucus composition and behavior. Over time, these adaptations were refined, leading to the obligate symbiosis observed today. The specificity of this partnership is striking. Most clownfish species are associated with only a limited number of anemone hosts, and successful colonization depends on precise chemical compatibility. This specialization underscores the delicate balance that sustains the relationship and emphasizes the vulnerability of both partners to environmental disturbances. Predators encountering a clownfish are confronted with a profound behavioral dilemma. The visual cues of a small, brightly colored fish signal an easy meal, yet the surrounding anemone represents a significant risk. Some predators attempt to exploit moments when the clownfish ventures beyond the protective tentacles, but the fish's intimate familiarity with its host allows it to retreat with remarkable speed and precision. This dynamic creates a persistent tension in predator-prey interactions, where the apparent accessibility of the clownfish contrasts sharply with the hidden danger of its refuge. The resulting hesitation can determine the outcome of the encounter, illustrating how deception rooted in ecological context can be as effective as physical defense. The narrative takes an unexpected turn when considering the energetic and physiological costs associated with this symbiosis. Maintaining the specialized mucus coating requires continuous metabolic investment, and the confined space of the anemone limits foraging opportunities. Furthermore, the close association increases vulnerability to environmental stressors such as temperature fluctuations and ocean acidification, which can disrupt the health of both the anemone and its symbiotic algae. Despite these challenges, the benefits of protection and reproductive security have driven the persistence of this relationship across evolutionary timescales. The clownfish's reliance on its host exemplifies a trade-off in which specialization enhances survival under stable conditions while increasing susceptibility to ecological change. Beyond its immediate ecological context, the clownfish-anemone partnership offers insights into broader principles of evolutionary biology. It demonstrates how mutualistic relationships can arise from initially antagonistic interactions, transforming a deadly predator into a protective ally. The system also highlights the importance of chemical communication in shaping ecological networks, revealing a dimension of biological interaction that is often invisible to human perception. By manipulating the sensory mechanisms of the anemone, the clownfish effectively redefines the boundaries of safety within the reef, creating a private sanctuary amid a landscape of constant threat. As twilight descends upon the reef, The anemone's tentacles continue their rhythmic dance in the gentle current, sheltering the vibrant forms of its resident clownfish. Predators patrol the surrounding waters, their silhouettes passing cautiously around the stinging perimeter. Within this living fortress, the clownfish tend to their eggs, fan them with meticulous care, and defend their territory with surprising boldness. The partnership endures through cycles of day and night, growth and reproduction, embodying a delicate balance forged by millions of years of coevolution. The enduring image is one of paradoxical security, a fragile-looking fish thriving within the embrace of a creature that embodies both danger and protection. This alliance transforms a lethal environment into a sanctuary, redefining the rules of survival within the coral reef. The clownfish does not merely evade predation, it reshapes the ecological landscape by inhabiting a space that others perceive as inaccessible. In doing so, it reveals a fundamental truth about life in the natural world. Survival often depends not on strength or speed, but on the ability to navigate and manipulate the hidden systems that govern perception and interaction. Within the silent, stinging embrace of the sea anemone, the clownfish exemplifies the profound evolutionary power of ecological deception, a strategy that turns a deadly boundary into a haven and transforms vulnerability into enduring success. A predator scans the seagrass meadow with practiced efficiency. Its eyes are tuned to the quick flashes and sudden bursts that betray the presence of prey. Yet, only a few centimeters away, a living creature drifts, in plain sight, entirely ignored. Upright, motionless except for a gentle sway in the current, it resembles nothing more than a fragment of vegetation. The hunter passes within striking distance and moves on, unaware that it has just overlooked a meal. The seahorse survives not by vanishing, but by exploiting a profound flaw in predator perception. It refuses to look or behave like a fish at all. In the intricate mosaic of coastal ecosystems, particularly within seagrass meadows and coral reefs, survival often depends on the ability to avoid detection in environments saturated with life and movement. Most fish rely on speed, schooling behavior, or cryptic coloration to evade predators. The seahorse, however, has abandoned these conventional strategies in favor of an evolutionary path defined by disguise at the level of both form and motion. Its upright posture is unique among fish, immediately separating it from the streamlined silhouettes that predators instinctively recognize as potential prey. This vertical orientation allows the seahorse to blend seamlessly with the stems of seagrass and the branching structures of corals, effectively dissolving its identity within the surrounding habitat. The deception extends beyond shape into the subtleties of movement. Predatory fish are neurologically tuned to detect rapid acceleration and directional changes, cues that signal the presence of vulnerable prey. The seahorse subverts this detection system by adopting a locomotion style that mimics the passive sway of vegetation. Propelled by the rapid oscillation of a small dorsal fin and stabilized by delicate pectoral fins near the head, it moves with extraordinary precision yet minimal disturbance to the surrounding water. This controlled drifting reduces the hydrodynamic signals that might otherwise reveal its presence. By synchronizing its motion with the rhythm of the current, the seahorse effectively disappears into the environmental noise, becoming indistinguishable from the background clutter. Central to this strategy is the seahorse's remarkable anatomical specialization. Its body is encased in a series of bony plates arranged in rings, providing structural support while maintaining flexibility. This armor offers protection against minor predatory attempts, but more importantly, it enables the maintenance of its distinctive posture without the muscular effort required by other fish. The prehensile tail represents another critical adaptation, functioning as an anchoring mechanism that allows the seahorse to grasp seagrass blades or coral branches. By securing itself in this manner, the animal can remain stationary even in fluctuating currents, conserving energy and enhancing its ability to remain inconspicuous. While its defensive adaptations are extraordinary, the seahorse is also an efficient predator in its own right. Its elongated snout operates as a precision feeding apparatus, employing a mechanism known as pivot feeding. When a suitable prey item, such as a copepod or small crustacean, drifts within range, the seahorse rapidly rotates its head, and generates a powerful suction force, drawing the prey into its mouth in a fraction of a second. This action is among the fastest feeding strikes recorded in fishes, yet it produces minimal disturbance to the surrounding environment, ensuring that the seahorse's predatory activity does not compromise its camouflage. The absence of teeth and the reliance on suction feeding further emphasize the specialization of this system, allowing the seahorse to exploit a niche that requires both stealth and precision. A deeper layer of complexity emerges when considering the seahorse's ability to modify its appearance. Specialized pigment cells, or chromatophores, enable subtle changes in coloration that enhance its resemblance to the surrounding habitat. Some species develop skin filaments and appendages that mimic the texture of algae or hydroids, further blurring the distinction between organism and environment. This combination of morphological and behavioral camouflage represents a sophisticated form of masquerade, in which the seahorse is not merely hidden, but actively misidentified as part of the habitat itself. Such deception exploits the cognitive shortcuts employed by predators, which prioritize the detection of familiar prey shapes over ambiguous forms. The seahorse's life history introduces an additional evolutionary twist that challenges conventional notions of reproductive roles. In a reversal of the typical vertebrate pattern, it is the male seahorse that becomes pregnant. During courtship, the female deposits her eggs into a specialized brood pouch located on the male's abdomen. Within this pouch, the male fertilizes and incubates the developing embryos, providing oxygen, nutrients, and osmoregulatory support through a complex vascular network. This paternal investment not only enhances offspring survival, but also influences the social and mating dynamics of seahorse populations. Pair bonds, often characterized by daily greeting rituals, reinforce reproductive synchronization and territorial stability within their habitat. This unique reproductive strategy underscores the broader theme of evolutionary innovation that defines the seahorse lineage. Despite its remarkable adaptations, the seahorse faces significant ecological challenges. Its limited swimming ability and strong sight fidelity render it particularly vulnerable to habitat degradation. Seagrass meadows and coral reefs, which provide essential structural complexity for camouflage and anchorage, are increasingly threatened by coastal development, pollution, and climate change. The loss of these habitats disrupts the delicate balance that supports seahorse survival, exposing them to heightened predation and reduced reproductive success. Additionally, seahorses are subject to exploitation for traditional medicine, the aquarium trade, and curios, further exacerbating population declines. These pressures highlight the intricate dependence of specialized species on the integrity of their ecosystems. The ecological role of seahorses extends beyond their individual survival. As predators of small crustaceans, they contribute to the regulation of planktonic and benthic communities, influencing nutrient cycling and energy flow within coastal ecosystems. Their presence also serves as an indicator of environmental health, as stable seahorse populations often reflect well-functioning habitats with high structural complexity and biodiversity. In this context, the seahorse embodies the interconnectedness of ecological systems, where the fate of a single species is intertwined with the broader dynamics of its environment. An unexpected dimension of seahorse biology lies in their sensory capabilities. Independent eye movement allows each eye to scan the environment separately, providing a panoramic field of vision that enhances both predator detection and prey localization. This visual system, combined with their cryptic behavior, enables seahorses to maintain situational awareness while remaining effectively concealed. Furthermore, their ability to perceive subtle changes in water movement aids in the detection of approaching threats, reinforcing their reliance on stillness as a primary defensive strategy. The evolutionary success of the seahorse is ultimately rooted in its capacity to exploit ambiguity. By occupying an intermediate state between organism and environment, it challenges the perceptual frameworks that predators use to identify prey. This strategy represents a departure from traditional camouflage, emphasizing behavioral and morphological masquerade over simple color matching. The seahorse does not merely hide, it redefines the criteria by which it is recognized, transforming visibility into invisibility through the manipulation of expectation. As the tide shifts and sunlight filters through the wavering canopy of seagrass, the seahorse remains anchored, its silhouette indistinguishable from the surrounding vegetation. Tiny crustaceans drift within reach, captured with silent precision, while predators continue their patrols, oblivious to the hidden presence in their midst. The scene encapsulates a profound evolutionary lesson. Survival is not always achieved through dominance or escape, but through the subtle art of misdirection. By refusing to conform to the archetype of a fish, the seahorse secures its place within the intricate tapestry of marine life. The enduring image is one of quiet resilience. Suspended within the gentle rhythm of the ocean, the seahorse embodies a strategy that transforms vulnerability into advantage through the manipulation of perception. Its existence challenges assumptions about what it means to be seen, revealing that the most effective defenses may lie not in confrontation, but in the ability to remain unnoticed within a world of constant motion. In this delicate balance between presence and invisibility, the seahorse stands as a testament to the ingenuity of evolution, a living reminder that sometimes the greatest strength is the power to be overlooked. A flicker of movement betrays the illusion just a moment too late. A small reef fish, weaving confidently through a forest of coral branches, brushes against what appears to be nothing more than a cluster of soft, gently swaying petals. In an instant, its body convulses, muscles locking as invisible weapons fire from every direction. The tentacles that seemed ornamental transform into a lethal snare. And the fish, paralyzed by microscopic toxins, is drawn inexorably toward a hidden mouth at the center of the living bloom. What appeared to be decoration is revealed as an ambush engineered through stillness, a predator that does not chase, but waits for the world to misinterpret its beauty. The reef surrounding this silent hunter is a place of relentless competition, where survival often depends on speed, armor, or camouflage. Yet the sea anemone thrives without any of these conventional advantages. Anchored permanently to rock or coral, it cannot pursue prey or flee from danger. Instead, it has evolved a strategy that transforms immobility into power. Its cylindrical body, crowned with a crown of tentacles, resembles the delicate symmetry of a flower, an appearance that encourages other organisms to treat it as part of the harmless background. This visual deception is not mimicry in the traditional sense. The anemone does not imitate a specific species. Rather, it exploits a cognitive shortcut common in reef ecosystems, the assumption that stationary plant-like forms are safe. By inhabiting this false category, the anemone converts aesthetic softness into a functional predatory advantage. Beneath this tranquil exterior lies one of the most sophisticated weapon systems in the animal kingdom. Each tentacle is lined with thousands of specialized cells known as conidocytes, which contain microscopic capsules called nematocysts. These structures operate through a combination of mechanical sensitivity and osmotic pressure, functioning like spring-loaded harpoons. When triggered by the slightest touch or specific chemical cues, a nematocyst discharges with extraordinary surah, everting a barbed thread capable of penetrating the skin of prey and injecting potent neurotoxins. The entire process occurs in a fraction of a second, making it one of the fastest cellular actions known in biology. The toxins disrupt nerve function and cellular membranes, immobilizing small fish and invertebrates almost instantly. Once subdued, the prey is guided by coordinated tentacle movements toward the anemone's central mouth, where digestion begins within a gastrovascular cavity that serves both as stomach and circulatory system. This reliance on microscopic weaponry allows the sea anemone to overcome the limitations of its sedentary lifestyle. Unlike active predators that expend energy in pursuit, the anemone invests its resources in maintaining a constant state of readiness. Its success depends on the flow of water and the behavior of surrounding organisms. Gentle currents carry plankton and small animals into its reach, while the vibrant complexity of the reef increases the likelihood that unsuspecting prey will make fatal contact. In this way, the anemone transforms the environment itself into an extension of its hunting strategy, turning random movement into predictable opportunity. Yet the anemone's role within the reef extends far beyond predation. One of the most remarkable aspects of its biology is its capacity for symbiosis, particularly with certain species of fish that have evolved immunity to its venom. The most iconic of these relationships is with anemone fish, commonly known as clownfish. Rather than falling victim to the anemone's stinging cells, these fish live among the tentacles, gaining protection from predators that dare not approach. This immunity is not inherent at birth, but is acquired through a gradual acclimation process. By carefully brushing against the tentacles, the fish coats its body with a specialized mucus layer that either inhibits nematocyst discharge or masks the chemical signals that would normally trigger it. This delicate negotiation allows the fish to inhabit a space that is lethal to others, transforming the anemone from a solitary predator into the center of a mutualistic partnership. The benefits of this alliance extend to both participants. The clownfish gains a secure refuge and a strategic base from which to forage, while the anemone receives multiple forms of assistance. The fish actively defend their host from potential predators and competitors, including butterfly fish that specialize in feeding on anemone tissue. Their movements also enhance water circulation around the tentacles, improving oxygen exchange and increasing the delivery of food particles. Additionally, the metabolic waste produced by the fish provides essential nutrients, particularly nitrogen, which supports the growth of symbiotic algae living within the anemone's tissues. These microscopic algae, known as zooxanthellae, perform photosynthesis, converting sunlight into organic compounds that supplement the anemone's diet. Through this intricate network of relationships, the anemone becomes not merely a predator, but a hub of ecological interaction, integrating chemical warfare, mutualism, and energy exchange into a single biological system. A deeper examination reveals that the anemone's apparent simplicity conceals a remarkable degree of physiological sophistication. Despite lacking a centralized brain, it possesses a decentralized nerve net capable of coordinating complex responses to environmental stimuli. This neural architecture allows the anemone to modulate tentacle movement, regulate the discharge of nematocysts, and even respond to variations in light, temperature, and water chemistry. Such sensitivity enables the animal to optimize its feeding efficiency and maintain homeostasis in a dynamic and often unpredictable environment. Furthermore, many species exhibit extraordinary regenerative abilities, capable of reconstructing lost body parts or even forming entirely new individuals through asexual reproduction. This capacity for regeneration ensures resilience in the face of physical damage and contributes to the persistence of anemone populations over extended periods. The narrative of deception deepens when considering the anemone's competitive interactions with other reef organisms. Space on a coral reef is an invaluable resource, and many species engage in direct chemical and physical warfare to secure it. Sea anemones deploy their nematocysts not only against prey, but also against neighboring corals and invertebrates. Some species extend specialized structures known as acroalgae, laden with particularly potent stinging cells, to attack encroaching rivals. These confrontations can result in visible battle lines where the tissues of competing organisms meet, each attempting to overgrow or poison the other. Through such mechanisms, the anemone asserts territorial dominance despite its lack of mobility, reinforcing the paradox that stillness can be a formidable strategy in a densely populated ecosystem. Environmental pressures have further shaped the evolutionary trajectory of sea anemones, leading to a diversity of forms and adaptations. In shallow, sunlit waters, species often rely heavily on their symbiotic algae, displaying vibrant colors that enhance light absorption for photosynthesis. In contrast, deep water anemones, where sunlight is scarce, depend more exclusively on capturing prey and may exhibit elongated tentacles optimized for intercepting passing organisms. Some species inhabit extreme environments, including hydrothermal vents and polar seas, demonstrating a resilience that underscores the versatility of their fundamental body plan. Across these varied habitats, the core strategy remains consistent: the transformation of passive appearance into active predation. A compelling twist emerges when the anemone is viewed not solely as a predator, but also as an ecosystem engineer. By providing shelter for a variety of organisms, including shrimp, crabs, and juvenile fish, it contributes to local biodiversity and influences community structure. These inhabitants often engage in their own mutualistic relationships with the anemone, cleaning its surface or assisting in food capture. The resulting microhabitat becomes a focal point of biological activity, illustrating how a single species can shape the dynamics of its surroundings. This role challenges the simplistic perception of the anemone as merely a stationary hunter, revealing it instead as a keystone participant in the intricate web of reef life. The evolutionary success of sea anemones is further highlighted by their longevity. Some individuals are believed to live for many decades, and certain species exhibit negligible senescence, showing little evidence of aging over time. This remarkable lifespan, combined with their regenerative capabilities, allows anemones to persist through environmental fluctuations that might eliminate less resilient organisms. Their enduring presence provides continuity within reef ecosystems, serving as stable refuges and consistent sources of ecological interaction across generations. As the narrative unfolds, the initial impression of fragility gives way to a recognition of profound complexity. The sea anemone embodies a convergence of strategies that challenge conventional notions of predation and survival. Its beauty conceals a sophisticated arsenal of microscopic weapons. Its immobility masks an ability to dominate space and influence community dynamics. And its simplicity belies a network of symbiotic relationships that enhance both resilience and ecological impact. Each of these elements contributes to a broader understanding of how evolution can exploit perception itself as a tool for survival. In the shifting light of the reef, the anemone continues its silent vigil, tentacles swaying with deceptive grace. Fish dart past, some finding sanctuary within its embrace while others meet a swift and unseen end. The boundary between safety and danger exists only at the moment of contact, defined not by appearance, but by the hidden mechanisms that lie beneath. This duality encapsulates the essence of the anemone's existence, a living paradox where vulnerability becomes strength and stillness becomes strategy. As currents carry the rhythms of the ocean across its delicate form, the sea anemone stands as a testament to the power of deception shaped by evolution, a reminder that in the natural world, the most unassuming forms can harbor the most formidable truths. A sleek reef predator lunges forward with unwavering certainty, jaws parting as it closes the final distance to what appears to be an easy meal. In the split second before contact, the target undergoes a transformation so abrupt that the attack collapses mid-motion. The small, streamlined fish swells into a rigid, spherical mass, bristling with sharp spines, its body expanding to several times its original size. The predator, confronted with an object that is no longer swallowable and now potentially lethal, recoils in confusion and abandons the strike. What seemed like a routine hunt is disrupted by one of the ocean's most dramatic defensive reversals. The pufferfish survives not by speed or strength, but by instantaneously rewriting the predator's perception of risk. Coral reefs are arenas of relentless predation, where efficiency determines survival. Most successful hunters rely on rapid acceleration and precise capture mechanics, targeting prey that can be swallowed quickly with minimal resistance. The pufferfish, with its typically slow and somewhat clumsy swimming style, appears ill-suited to this environment. Its rounded body and small fins limit agility, making escape through conventional means unlikely. Yet this apparent vulnerability conceals an extraordinary evolutionary innovation, the ability to transform its body into a formidable deterrent within seconds. This strategy exploits a fundamental principle of predator behavior. Hunters are finely attuned to assessing the energy costs and risks associated with capturing prey. By abruptly altering these calculations, the pufferfish turns imminent predation into hesitation and retreat. The biological mechanism underlying this transformation is both elegant and highly specialized. Unlike most fish, puffers possess an exceptionally elastic stomach and a flexible skin capable of accommodating rapid expansion. When threatened, the fish forcefully ingests large volumes of water or air when removed from the aquatic environment, using powerful buccal and pharyngeal muscles. This intake is facilitated by a specialized valve that prevents the escape of the ingested medium, allowing the body to inflate into a near spherical shape. The skeletal structure, composed of reduced and fused bones, supports this expansion without compromising integrity. As the body enlarges, dermal spines that normally lie flat against the skin become erect, transforming the fish into a rigid, spiky orb that is difficult to grasp or swallow. This morphological shift occurs within moments, effectively interrupting the predator's attack sequence at its most critical stage. The visual transformation is only part of the pufferfish's defensive arsenal. Many species are equipped with one of the most potent natural toxins known, tetrodotoxin. This neurotoxin interferes with the function of voltage-gated sodium channels in nerve and muscle cells, preventing the transmission of electrical signals essential for movement and respiration. Even minute quantities can induce paralysis and death in potential predators. Interestingly, the pufferfish does not synthesize tetrodotoxin itself. Instead, it accumulates the toxin through a symbiotic relationship with specific bacteria present in its diet and tissues. This partnership allows the fish to maintain high concentrations of the toxin in organs such as the liver, skin, and gonads, creating a chemical defense that reinforces the warning conveyed by its inflated form. The combination of physical deterrence and genuine toxicity ensures that the puffer's dramatic display is not merely a bluff, but a credible threat. Predators that encounter puffers quickly learn to associate their distinctive appearance with danger. This learning process is facilitated by aposematic coloration, as many species display bold patterns and contrasting hues that signal unprofitability. Such visual cues function as honest advertisements of the fish's defenses, reducing the likelihood of repeated attacks. However, the effectiveness of this system extends beyond individual encounters. Through evolutionary time, predators that recognize and avoid puffers gain a survival advantage, reinforcing the stability of this signaling mechanism within the ecosystem. The pufferfish thus participates in a complex network of behavioral and evolutionary interactions, where perception and memory play crucial roles in shaping predator-prey dynamics. Despite its formidable defenses, the pufferfish faces significant physiological challenges associated with its unique strategy. Inflation is an energetically demanding process that temporarily restricts mobility and increases vulnerability if the fish is unable to expel the ingested water efficiently. Remaining inflated for extended periods can lead to exhaustion or impaired buoyancy control, emphasizing that this defense is intended as a short-term response rather than a sustained state. Furthermore, the reliance on tetrodotoxin introduces additional complexities. The concentration of the toxin can vary depending on environmental conditions and dietary availability, potentially influencing the effectiveness of the chemical defense. These constraints highlight the delicate balance between the benefits and costs of the puffer's survival strategy. The ecological role of pufferfish extends beyond their interactions with predators. As foragers, many species contribute to the maintenance of reef health by feeding on hard-shelled invertebrates such as mollusks and crustaceans. Their powerful beak-like teeth, formed by the fusion of dental plates, enable them to crush and consume prey that are inaccessible to other fish. This feeding behavior influences the population dynamics of benthic organisms and contributes to the overall balance of reef ecosystems. In this context, the pufferfish exemplifies the interconnectedness of ecological processes, where a species' defensive adaptations are intertwined with its functional role within the environment. A deeper layer of intrigue emerges when considering the evolutionary origins of the puffer's defenses. The combination of inflation, spination, and toxicity represents a multifaceted strategy that likely developed through a series of incremental adaptations. Early ancestors may have possessed modest abilities to expand their bodies, providing limited protection against predation. Over time, natural selection would have favored individuals capable of greater inflation, more pronounced spines, and enhanced chemical defenses. The integration of these traits into a cohesive system illustrates the power of evolutionary processes to generate complex solutions to ecological challenges. This evolutionary trajectory underscores the principle that survival often depends not on a single adaptation, but on the synergistic interaction of multiple traits. The narrative of the pufferfish takes an unexpected turn when its relationship with humans is considered. In certain cultures, particularly in parts of East Asia, pufferfish are regarded as a culinary delicacy known as fugu. The preparation of this dish requires meticulous skill and specialized training to remove toxic tissues safely. This human fascination with a potentially lethal organism reflects a broader theme in the natural world: the coexistence of danger and allure. While the puffer's toxin poses significant risks, it has also attracted scientific interest for its potential applications in medical research, including the study of nerve function and the development of novel analgesics. Thus, the pufferfish occupies a unique intersection between ecological significance and cultural relevance. The effectiveness of the puffer's defensive strategy is further demonstrated by its influence on predator behavior and community structure. Predators that avoid puffers may shift their focus to alternative prey, indirectly affecting the distribution and abundance of other species within the reef. This cascading effect highlights the broader ecological consequences of individual survival strategies. By altering the decision-making processes of predators, the pufferfish contributes to the dynamic equilibrium that characterizes coral reef ecosystems. Such interactions exemplify the intricate web of dependencies that sustain biodiversity in marine environments. As twilight descends upon the reef, the pufferfish resumes its unassuming form, drifting among coral outcrops with an air of apparent vulnerability. Its transformation, though fleeting, leaves a lasting impression on the predators that witnessed it. The memory of the sudden expansion and the implicit threat of toxicity shapes future encounters, reinforcing the effectiveness of the puffer's strategy. In this way, the fish leverages both immediate physical deterrence and long-term behavioral conditioning to secure its survival. The enduring image is one of paradox, a creature that appears defenseless, yet commands respect through its capacity for rapid and dramatic change. The pufferfish embodies the principle that survival in the natural world often hinges on the ability to manipulate perception and expectation. By transforming itself from manageable prey into a hazardous and unpalatable object, it disrupts the seamless efficiency upon which predation depends. This strategy does not require confrontation or escape. It simply introduces doubt at the critical moment, compelling the predator to reconsider the cost of attack. In the vast and intricate tapestry of marine life, the pufferfish stands as a testament to the power of evolutionary ingenuity. Its sudden exaggeration of form, reinforced by genuine chemical danger, represents a masterful integration of physical and behavioral defenses. As currents carry the rhythms of the ocean across the reef, the puffer drifts quietly, its potential for transformation hidden beneath a calm exterior. The next predator that approaches will once again confront the unsettling realization that not all prey are what they seem. Through this remarkable ability to redefine the terms of engagement, the pufferfish secures its place as one of the ocean's most compelling examples of survival through deception and transformation. A hunting grouper lunges toward what appears to be an exposed crab resting on a patch of coral. In the instant before impact, the crab dissolves. Legs melt into the seafloor, color drains into mottled stone, and the predator crashes into empty water. What seemed like a simple prey item was never a crab at all, but an octopus. An animal capable of rewriting its own identity faster than any observer can interpret it. This is not mere camouflage. It is a dynamic erasure of certainty, a biological system designed to fracture the link between perception and reality. In the ocean, where hesitation can mean death, the octopus survives by ensuring that nothing around it can ever be completely sure of what it is seeing. Across tropical reefs and temperate seabeds, the octopus occupies a paradoxical position within the marine hierarchy. It lacks the armor of crustaceans, the speed of pelagic fish, and the social protection of schooling species. Its body is soft, vulnerable, and seemingly defenseless. Yet this apparent fragility conceals one of the most sophisticated survival systems in the animal kingdom. Evolution has equipped the octopus not with brute strength, but with the capacity for rapid, multi-dimensional deception. Every aspect of its biology, its skin, nervous system, musculature, and cognition contributes to an organism that can transform its appearance, behavior, and even perceived identity in a matter of seconds. The visual foundation of this deception lies in the extraordinary architecture of the octopus's skin. Embedded within its dermal layers are specialized pigment cells known as chromatophores, each controlled directly by the nervous system. These cells can expand or contract almost instantaneously, revealing or concealing pigments that range from deep browns and reds to pale yellows. Beneath them lie iridophores and leucophores, structures that reflect and scatter light, enabling the animal to manipulate brightness and iridescence. This multi-layered system allows the octopus to match not only the color of its surroundings, but also the way light interacts with them. The result is not simple camouflage, but a near-perfect visual integration into the environment, achieved with astonishing speed and precision. Color alone, however, is insufficient in a three-dimensional world defined by texture and shadow. To address this, the octopus employs muscular structures called papillae, which can raise or flatten the skin to mimic the physical contours of rocks, corals, or algae. Within moments, a smooth-bodied animal can transform into a spiky, uneven mass that blends seamlessly with the surrounding terrain. This ability to alter texture adds a crucial layer of deception, ensuring that predators relying on shape recognition are just as likely to be misled as those depending on color. The octopus does not merely resemble its environment, it becomes an extension of it. Yet the true brilliance of the octopus lies not only in its physical transformations, but in the cognitive processes that guide them. Possessing one of the most complex nervous systems among invertebrates, the octopus demonstrates remarkable problem-solving abilities and behavioral flexibility. A significant portion of its neurons resides within its arms, granting them a degree of autonomy that allows for simultaneous exploration and manipulation of the environment. This distributed intelligence enables the octopus to assess threats, select appropriate defensive strategies, and execute them with extraordinary coordination. Rather than relying on a fixed repertoire of responses, it continuously evaluates its surroundings, adjusting its behavior in real time to remain unpredictable and unreadable. This unpredictability is central to the octopus's survival. In ecosystems where predators learn to associate specific visual cues with prey, consistency can be fatal. An animal that always appears the same becomes an easy target once its identity is recognized. The octopus circumvents this vulnerability by maintaining a state of perpetual ambiguity. It may adopt the appearance of a rock to avoid detection, then transition into a flowing mass of color to startle a predator, or suddenly release a cloud of ink and jet away using powerful siphon-driven propulsion. Each of these strategies disrupts the decision-making processes of potential threats, buying the precious moments necessary for escape. The ink itself represents another layer of deception, functioning not merely as a visual smokescreen but as a complex chemical defense. Composed primarily of melanin, the ink can obscure the predator's vision, creating a temporary barrier that allows the octopus to flee. In some species, the ink forms cohesive masses known as pseudomorphs, which retain the approximate size and shape of the octopus. These decoys drift in the water, drawing the predator's attention away from the escaping animal. Additionally, chemical components within the ink may interfere with the sensory systems of predators, further enhancing its effectiveness as an escape mechanism. Through this multifaceted defense, the octopus transforms a moment of vulnerability into an opportunity for misdirection. The boneless nature of the octopus's body introduces yet another dimension to its deceptive capabilities. Without a rigid skeleton, the animal can compress itself to pass through openings scarcely larger than its beak, the only hard structure within its anatomy. This remarkable flexibility allows it to exploit refuges inaccessible to most predators, from narrow crevices in coral reefs to discarded containers on the seafloor. Such spaces provide not only protection but also strategic vantage points for ambush predation. From these concealed positions, the octopus can extend its arms to capture unsuspecting prey, employing suction-line tentacles and a powerful beak to secure and consume its meal. The ability to occupy seemingly impossible spaces reinforces the illusion that the octopus can simply vanish from the environment. While deception is often associated with defense, it also plays a crucial role in the octopus's hunting strategy. Many species utilize stealth and camouflage to approach prey undetected, gradually inching closer while maintaining perfect visual integration with their surroundings. At the decisive moment, the octopus launches a rapid strike, enveloping the prey within its arms and delivering a venomous bite. The venom, produced by specialized salivary glands, contains neurotoxins that immobilize the victim, ensuring efficient subjugation. This dual application of deception, both as predator and prey, underscores the versatility of the octopus's survival system. A deeper narrative twist emerges when considering the sensory world in which these transformations occur. Octopuses are thought to possess a unique form of visual perception that allows them to interpret the polarization of light, enhancing their ability to detect contrasts and patterns in the underwater environment. This capability may inform their camouflage decisions, enabling them to replicate subtle visual cues that would otherwise escape detection. Intriguingly, despite their mastery of color change, octopuses are believed to be colorblind, relying instead on brightness and texture to guide their transformations. This apparent contradiction highlights the evolutionary ingenuity of their camouflage system, demonstrating that effective deception does not necessarily require conventional visual perception. The ecological implications of the octopus's adaptability extend far beyond individual survival. As both predator and prey, octopuses occupy a pivotal position within marine food webs, influencing the populations of crustaceans, mollusks, and fish, while serving as a vital food source for larger predators such as sharks, dolphins, and seabirds. Their presence contributes to the dynamic balance of reef and benthic ecosystems, shaping patterns of energy flow and species interactions. Moreover, their behavioral flexibility allows them to thrive in a wide range of habitats, from shallow coastal waters to the depths of the open ocean, illustrating the evolutionary success of their multifaceted survival strategy. Reproduction introduces a poignant dimension to the octopus's life history, marked by a dramatic investment in the next generation. Female octopuses often devote themselves entirely to the care of their eggs, guarding and aerating them for extended periods without feeding. This intense parental commitment culminates in the female's death shortly after the eggs hatch, a phenomenon linked to complex hormonal changes within the optic gland. This simultaneous reproductive strategy, in which individuals reproduce only once, reflects an evolutionary trade-off that prioritizes the survival of offspring over the longevity of the parent. The cycle of life and death adds a layer of poignancy to the octopus's existence, emphasizing the delicate balance between survival and sacrifice. As twilight descends upon the reef, the octopus resumes its silent transformation, shifting from one identity to another with effortless fluidity. A patch of sand becomes a living shadow, then a textured rock, and finally a fleeting silhouette disappearing into the darkness. Each transformation reinforces the central theme of its existence, the refusal to remain legible. In a world governed by rapid decisions and relentless predation, the octopus endures by continuously rewriting the rules of perception. The enduring image is one of perpetual ambiguity, a creature that cannot be easily defined, whose essence lies in its capacity for change. By dissolving the boundaries between organism and environment, predator and prey, visibility and invisibility, the octopus exemplifies the evolutionary power of deception in its purest form. It is not merely an inhabitant of the ocean, but a master editor of its own reality, surviving through an extraordinary synthesis of intelligence, adaptability, and biological innovation. In the silent theater of the underwater world, the octopus stands as a testament to the profound effectiveness of remaining unknowable, a living embodiment of nature's most sophisticated illusion. A snail glides slowly across the reef floor, its heavy shell offering what should be reliable protection against the dangers of the ocean. From a nearby burrow, a pair of stalked eyes tracks every subtle movement with unnerving precision. There is no warning, no visible preparation, only a sudden flash. In less than the blink of an eye, a shockwave ripples through the water, and the seemingly invulnerable shell fractures, as if struck by a hammer. The predator responsible is scarcely larger than a human finger, yet it has delivered one of the most powerful blows in the animal kingdom. The mantis shrimp survives by concealing extraordinary lethality within a body so small and colorful that it is routinely underestimated, transforming assumptions about scale into a decisive survival advantage. Amid the bustling complexity of coral reefs, where countless species compete for space and resources, the mantis shrimp occupies a niche defined by both secrecy and explosive power. Often hidden within burrows excavated in sand or rock, it presents little immediate threat to passing animals. Its vibrant coloration and compact size can make it appear more ornamental than dangerous, leading both predators and prey to misjudge its capabilities. This misinterpretation is central to the mantis shrimp's success. By remaining inconspicuous until the precise moment of action, it turns surprise into a weapon, ensuring that its true nature is revealed only when escape is no longer possible. The biological foundation of this remarkable predatory strategy lies in a highly specialized appendage known as the raptorial limb. In species classified as smashers, this limb is engineered to function as a biological hammer. Elastic structures within the limb store mechanical energy through muscular contraction, effectively loading a spring-like system. When released, this stored energy propels the appendage forward with extraordinary acceleration, generating forces capable of cracking the shells of mollusks and crustaceans. The speed of this strike is so extreme that it produces cavitation, tiny vapor bubbles formed by rapid pressure changes in the surrounding water. As these bubbles collapse, they generate additional shock waves and brief flashes of light, amplifying the destructive impact of the initial blow. This dual mechanism ensures that even heavily armored prey cannot withstand the assault. The mantis shrimp's hunting strategy is intimately linked to its burrow-dwelling lifestyle. By establishing a secure refuge within the reef, it creates a controlled environment from which it can monitor passing prey while remaining protected from potential predators. The burrow serves multiple functions. It is a defensive stronghold, a site for reproduction, and a strategic platform for ambush. Prey organisms approaching the entrance often perceive the structure as a benign feature of the reef, unaware that they are entering the strike zone of a predator capable of instantaneous violence. This spatial advantage allows the mantis shrimp to conserve energy, striking only when success is virtually assured. Complementing its formidable offensive capabilities is one of the most sophisticated visual systems known in the animal kingdom. The mantis shrimp's compound eyes are mounted on mobile stalks, granting an expansive field of vision and the ability to perceive depth with remarkable accuracy. Each eye is divided into specialized regions that enable the detection of a wide range of wavelengths, including ultraviolet light, as well as the ability to discern different types of polarized light. This complex sensory apparatus allows the mantis shrimp to interpret subtle visual cues within its environment, facilitating precise targeting of prey and effective communication with conspecifics. The capacity to detect polarization patterns also aids in navigation and habitat recognition, further enhancing the animal's ecological versatility. The integration of visual acuity and mechanical power creates a predator uniquely adapted to exploit the reef's dynamic environment. While many predators rely on stealth or speed alone, the mantis shrimp combines sensory precision with overwhelming force, ensuring that its attacks are both accurate and decisive. This synergy is particularly evident in territorial interactions, where individuals use their raptorial limbs not only for hunting, but also for defense. Ritualized displays and controlled strikes can deter rivals without escalating into lethal conflict, illustrating a sophisticated balance between aggression and energy conservation. Such behaviors underscore the mantis shrimp's role as both predator and ecosystem participant, influencing the distribution and behavior of other reef organisms. A deeper exploration of mantis shrimp diversity reveals two primary functional groups, smashers and spearers. While smashers employ hammer-like appendages to break hard shells, spearers possess elongated barbed limbs designed to impale soft-bodied prey such as fish. This divergence reflects an evolutionary response to different ecological niches, demonstrating the adaptability of the mantis shrimp lineage. Despite these differences, both groups share the underlying principle of disproportionate capability, an ability to deliver rapid, decisive strikes that far exceed expectations based on their size. This evolutionary theme highlights the significance of biomechanical innovation in shaping survival strategies within competitive ecosystems. The mantis shrimp's reproductive behavior introduces another layer of complexity to its life history. Many species exhibit monogamous pair bonds, with males and females sharing and defending a common burrow. This cooperative arrangement enhances reproductive success by ensuring the protection of eggs and the efficient utilization of resources. Females often carry fertilized eggs within the burrow, carefully tending to them until they hatch. In some species, both parents participate in guarding and maintaining the nest, reflecting a level of social organization uncommon among crustaceans. These behaviors emphasize the importance of stable shelter and territorial fidelity in the mantis shrimp's ecological strategy. The ecological impact of mantis shrimp extends beyond their immediate predatory interactions. By preying on hard-shelled invertebrates, they influence the population dynamics of key reef species, contributing to the maintenance of ecological balance. Their burrowing activities also play a role in sediment turnover and habitat modification, creating microenvironments that can be utilized by other organisms. In this way, the mantis shrimp functions as both predator and ecosystem engineer, shaping the physical and biological landscape of the reef. An unexpected twist in the mantis shrimp's narrative lies in its interactions with larger predators. Despite their formidable weaponry, mantis shrimp remain vulnerable to fish and other marine animals capable of overcoming their defenses. However, the risk associated with attacking such a well-armed prey often leads predators to avoid them altogether. This deterrence is reinforced by the mantis shrimp's vivid coloration, which may serve as an aposematic signal advertising its capacity for retaliation. The combination of mechanical power and visual warning creates a powerful disincentive for predation, further enhancing the animal's survival prospects. Human encounters with mantis shrimp have contributed to their reputation as both fascinating and formidable creatures. Divers and aquarists are often captivated by their striking appearance and complex behaviors, yet they must exercise caution due to the potential for injury from their powerful strikes. Scientific research into the biomechanics of mantis shrimp appendages has inspired innovations in materials science and engineering, particularly in the development of impact-resistant structures. These interdisciplinary connections highlight the broader significance of the mantis shrimp beyond its ecological context, illustrating how biological adaptations can inform technological advancement. As daylight filters through the water and the reef settles into its rhythmic patterns, the mantis shrimp remains poised at the entrance of its burrow, a sentinel of concealed power. Its eyes rotate independently, scanning for the slightest indication of movement, while its raptorial limbs remain cocked in readiness. To the untrained observer, it is merely a small, colorful inhabitant of the reef. Yet beneath this unassuming exterior lies a convergence of sensory sophistication and mechanical force that challenges conventional assumptions about size and strength. The enduring image is one of sudden revelation, a tranquil reef scene shattered by an instantaneous burst of energy, leaving behind the fractured remnants of what once seemed secure. The mantis shrimp embodies a profound evolutionary lesson that survival does not always depend on physical dominance or imposing stature, but on the capacity to defy expectations through specialized adaptation. By masking extraordinary lethality within a modest frame, it transforms underestimation into opportunity, ensuring its place as one of the ocean's most compelling examples of nature's ability to compress immense power into the smallest of forms. In this hidden calculus of perception and reality, the mantis shrimp stands as a living testament to the principle that in the natural world, size is often the least reliable indicator of true capability. A careless step onto what appears to be an ordinary patch of reef can trigger one of the most excruciating defensive reactions in the natural world. The surface seems harmless, an uneven cluster of algae-covered rock, mottled with sand and coral fragments. But in an instant, the illusion shatters. Beneath that deceptive stillness lies the stonefish, an organism so perfectly disguised that danger exists not as a visible threat, but as an unseen certainty. Unlike predators that rely on pursuit or intimidation, the stonefish survives by ensuring that recognition comes too late. In its world, the greatest weapon is not speed or aggression, but the catastrophic consequence of a simple mistake. Across the warm, shallow waters of the Indo-Pacific, coral reefs form intricate landscapes of color and complexity. These environments are defined by constant motion. Fish dart between coral branches, currents sweep clouds of plankton across the seabed, and shifting light patterns create an ever-changing mosaic of shadows. Amid this visual chaos, the stonefish occupies a niche that depends on stillness rather than activity. Settled among rubble, sand, and encrusted coral, it becomes indistinguishable from the geological features surrounding it. Its body is irregular and lumpy, coated with textured skin that supports algae and sediment, effectively transforming living tissue into what appears to be inert rock. Even at close range, the subtle positioning of its eyes and the fragmented outline of its form prevent easy identification, allowing it to exist unnoticed within one of the most densely populated ecosystems on Earth. This extraordinary camouflage represents more than simple background matching. The stonefish employs a strategy known as masquerade, in which an organism resembles an inanimate object that predators and prey alike have learned to ignore. While many reef animals blend into their surroundings through color and pattern, the stonefish destabilizes the very concept of biological form. Its appearance lacks the symmetry and recognizable features typically associated with living creatures, causing observers to categorize it as part of the environment rather than as a potential threat. This manipulation of perception is central to its survival, enabling it to occupy exposed positions on the reef floor without attracting attention. Yet camouflage alone does not fully explain the stonefish's success. Beneath its deceptive exterior lies a sophisticated defensive system that transforms accidental encounters into powerful deterrents. Along its dorsal surface, the stonefish possesses a series of robust spines connected to venom glands. When pressure is applied, such as when a predator attempts to bite or an unwary animal steps on its body, these spines penetrate the intruder's tissue, delivering venom with remarkable efficiency. The mechanism is largely passive. The stonefish does not actively strike, but instead relies on the mechanical force exerted by the victim. This design ensures that the cost of misidentification is immediate and severe, reinforcing the effectiveness of its camouflage by associating the reef floor with potential danger. The venom itself is a complex biochemical cocktail composed of proteins that disrupt cellular integrity, interfere with nerve transmission, and induce intense pain. In fish and other marine predators, envenomation can lead to rapid immobilization, while in larger animals, it produces overwhelming physiological distress that discourages further interaction. From an evolutionary perspective, this system represents a highly efficient investment in defense. Rather than expending energy on escape or confrontation, the stonefish allows its environment and its venom to perform the work of protection. The result is a strategy in which stillness becomes synonymous with security. Paradoxically, the same adaptations that make the stonefish a formidable defensive organism also enhance its effectiveness as an ambush predator. Remaining motionless on the seabed, it waits for unsuspecting prey to approach within striking distance. When a small fish or crustacean ventures too close, the stonefish executes a rapid suction feeding event. By suddenly expanding its buccal cavity, it generates a powerful negative pressure that draws the prey into its mouth in a fraction of a second. This feeding mechanism is among the fastest recorded in teleost fishes, enabling the stonefish to capture agile prey without compromising its camouflage. The dual functionality of its adaptations, serving both defense and predation, illustrates the elegance of evolutionary design, where a single strategy can fulfill multiple ecological roles. The sensory capabilities of the stonefish further refine its ambush tactics. Despite its inert appearance, it possesses highly developed lateral line systems that detect subtle vibrations in the surrounding water. These mechanoreceptors allow the stonefish to perceive the movements of nearby organisms even when visual cues are limited. Additionally, its upward-facing mouth and strategically positioned eyes provide a field of awareness that supports precise timing during predatory strikes. This integration of sensory perception with physical disguise ensures that the stonefish remains both hidden and highly responsive to opportunities within its environment. Reproductive behavior introduces another dimension to the stonefish's life history. During breeding periods, females release buoyant masses of eggs that drift with the currents, while males fertilize them externally. The resulting larvae are planktonic, dispersing across wide geographic areas before settling onto the reef floor. This dispersal strategy enhances genetic diversity and facilitates colonization of new habitats, contributing to the resilience of stonefish populations. As the juveniles mature, they gradually develop the distinctive morphology and camouflage that define the species, transitioning from vulnerable larvae to masters of deception. The ecological role of the stonefish extends beyond its interactions with predators and prey. As an ambush predator, It influences the behavior and distribution of smaller reef organisms, contributing to the complex trophic dynamics that sustain coral reef ecosystems. Its presence introduces an element of risk that shapes the movement patterns of prey species, indirectly affecting grazing pressure on algae and the health of coral communities. In this way, the stonefish participates in the delicate balance of reef ecology, demonstrating that even the most inconspicuous species can exert significant influence on their environment. Despite its formidable defenses, the stonefish is not entirely without threats. Certain predators, such as large sharks and rays, appear to possess a degree of resistance to its venom, enabling them to prey upon these otherwise well-protected fish. Additionally, environmental changes pose significant challenges to stonefish populations. Coral reef degradation, driven by climate change, pollution, and destructive fishing practices, alters the structural complexity of their habitat. As reefs decline, the availability of suitable camouflage environments may diminish, potentially increasing the vulnerability of stonefish to predation and reducing their hunting success. These pressures highlight the interconnected nature of marine ecosystems and the importance of preserving habitat integrity. A deeper examination of the stonefish's evolutionary lineage reveals its affiliation with the family Synantheidae, a group of fishes characterized by robust venom apparatuses and specialized camouflage. Fossil evidence and comparative anatomical studies suggest that these adaptations emerged in response to intense predation pressures within reef environments. Over millions of years, natural selection favored individuals capable of minimizing detection while maximizing defensive effectiveness. The resulting morphology represents a culmination of incremental changes that collectively produce one of the most effective survival strategies in the marine realm. The psychological dimension of the stonefish's deception is perhaps its most compelling feature. Predators and other reef inhabitants rely on cognitive shortcuts to navigate the overwhelming complexity of their environment. By mimicking inert substrates, the stonefish exploits these perceptual biases, effectively manipulating the decision-making processes of other organisms. This strategy underscores a broader principle in evolutionary biology. Survival often depends not on physical dominance, but on the ability to influence how others interpret sensory information. In this context, the stonefish transforms the assumption of environmental safety into a lethal vulnerability. As daylight fades and the reef transitions into the subdued tones of evening, the stonefish remains motionless, its presence concealed within the tapestry of rock and coral. Fish continue their routines, weaving through the labyrinthine structures of the reef, unaware of the hidden predator beneath them. The surrounding landscape appears tranquil, yet it harbors a silent enforcer of ecological balance. In this stillness lies the essence of the stonefish's strategy, a fusion of deception and consequence that redefines the relationship between organism and environment. The enduring image of the stonefish is not one of aggression or pursuit, but of quiet inevitability. It embodies an evolutionary philosophy in which survival is achieved by merging seamlessly with the environment and ensuring that any misinterpretation carries profound consequences. By weaponizing the assumption that the landscape is inert, the stonefish transforms the reef into a domain of hidden risk, where the boundary between living organism and geological feature becomes indistinguishable. In this subtle yet formidable presence, the stonefish stands as a testament to the power of deception in the natural world, a living reminder that the most dangerous threats are often those that remain unseen until the moment they strike. A careless step onto what appears to be an ordinary patch of reef can trigger one of the most excruciating defensive reactions in the natural world. The surface seems harmless, an uneven cluster of algae-covered rock, mottled with sand and coral fragments. But in an instant, the illusion shatters. Beneath that deceptive stillness lies the stonefish, an organism so perfectly disguised that danger exists not as a visible threat, but as an unseen certainty. Unlike predators that rely on pursuit or intimidation, the stonefish survives by ensuring that recognition comes too late. In its world, the greatest weapon is not speed or aggression, but the catastrophic consequence of a simple mistake. Across the warm, shallow waters of the Indo-Pacific, Coral reefs form intricate landscapes of color and complexity. These environments are defined by constant motion. Fish dart between coral branches, currents sweep clouds of plankton across the seabed, and shifting light patterns create an ever-changing mosaic of shadows. Amid this visual chaos, the stonefish occupies a niche that depends on stillness rather than activity. Settled among rubble, sand, and encrusted coral, it becomes indistinguishable from the geological features surrounding it. Its body is irregular and lumpy, coated with textured skin that supports algae and sediment, effectively transforming living tissue into what appears to be inert rock. Even at close range, the subtle positioning of its eyes and the fragmented outline of its form prevent easy identification, allowing it to exist unnoticed within one of the most densely populated ecosystems on Earth. This extraordinary camouflage represents more than simple background matching. The stonefish employs a strategy known as masquerade, in which an organism resembles an inanimate object that predators and prey alike have learned to ignore. While many reef animals blend into their surroundings through color and pattern, the stonefish destabilizes the very concept of biological form. Its appearance lacks the symmetry and recognizable features typically associated with living creatures, causing observers to categorize it as part of the environment rather than as a potential threat. This manipulation of perception is central to its survival, enabling it to occupy exposed positions on the reef floor without attracting attention. Yet camouflage alone does not fully explain the stonefish's success. Beneath its deceptive exterior lies a sophisticated defensive system that transforms accidental encounters into powerful deterrents. Along its dorsal surface, the stonefish possesses a series of robust spines connected to venom glands. When pressure is applied, such as when a predator attempts to bite or an unwary animal steps on its body, these spines penetrate the intruder's tissue, delivering venom with remarkable efficiency. The mechanism is largely passive. The stonefish does not actively strike, but instead relies on the mechanical force exerted by the victim. This design ensures that the cost of misidentification is immediate and severe, reinforcing the effectiveness of its camouflage by associating the reef floor with potential danger. The venom itself is a complex biochemical cocktail composed of proteins that disrupt cellular integrity, interfere with nerve transmission, and induce intense pain. In fish and other marine predators, envenomation can lead to rapid immobilization, while in larger animals it produces overwhelming physiological distress that discourages further interaction. From an evolutionary perspective, this system represents a highly efficient investment in defense. Rather than expending energy on escape or confrontation, the stonefish allows its environment and its venom to perform the work of protection. The result is a strategy in which stillness becomes synonymous with security. Paradoxically, the same adaptations that make the stonefish a formidable defensive organism also enhance its effectiveness as an ambush predator. Remaining motionless on the seabed, it waits for unsuspecting prey to approach within striking distance. When a small fish or crustacean ventures too close, the stonefish executes a rapid suction feeding event. By suddenly expanding its buccal cavity, it generates a powerful negative pressure that draws the prey into its mouth in a fraction of a second. This feeding mechanism is among the fastest recorded in teleost fishes, enabling the stonefish to capture agile prey without compromising its camouflage. The dual functionality of its adaptations, serving both defense and predation, illustrates the elegance of evolutionary design, where a single strategy can fulfill multiple ecological roles. The sensory capabilities of the stonefish further refine its ambush tactics. Despite its inert appearance, it possesses highly developed lateral line systems that detect subtle vibrations in the surrounding water. These mechanoreceptors allow the stonefish to perceive the movements of nearby organisms even when visual cues are limited. Additionally, its upward-facing mouth and strategically positioned eyes provide a field of awareness that supports precise timing during predatory strikes. This integration of sensory perception with physical disguise ensures that the stonefish remains both hidden and highly responsive to opportunities within its environment. Reproductive behavior introduces another dimension to the stonefish's life history. During breeding periods, females release buoyant masses of eggs that drift with the currents, while males fertilize them externally. The resulting larvae are planktonic, dispersing across wide geographic areas before settling onto the reef floor. This dispersal strategy enhances genetic diversity and facilitates colonization of new habitats, contributing to the resilience of stonefish populations. As the juveniles mature, they gradually develop the distinctive morphology and camouflage that define the species, transitioning from vulnerable larvae to masters of deception. The ecological role of the stonefish extends beyond its interactions with predators and prey. As an ambush predator, it influences the behavior and distribution of smaller reef organisms, contributing to the complex trophic dynamics that sustain coral reef ecosystems. Its presence introduces an element of risk that shapes the movement patterns of prey species, indirectly affecting grazing pressure on algae and the health of coral communities. In this way, the stonefish participates in the delicate balance of reef ecology, demonstrating that even the most inconspicuous species can exert significant influence on their environment. Despite its formidable defenses, the stonefish is not entirely without threats. Certain predators, such as large sharks and rays, appear to possess a degree of resistance to its venom, enabling them to prey upon these otherwise well-protected fish. Additionally, environmental changes pose significant challenges to stonefish populations. Coral reef degradation, driven by climate change, pollution, and destructive fishing practices, alters the structural complexity of their habitat. As reefs decline, the availability of suitable camouflage environments may diminish, potentially increasing the vulnerability of stonefish to predation and reducing their hunting success. These pressures highlight the interconnected nature of marine ecosystems and the importance of preserving habitat integrity. A deeper examination of the stonefish's evolutionary lineage reveals its affiliation with the family Cynanchaeidae, a group of fishes characterized by robust venom apparatuses and specialized camouflage. Fossil evidence and comparative anatomical studies suggest that these adaptations emerged in response to intense predation pressures within reef environments. Over millions of years, natural selection favored individuals capable of minimizing detection while maximizing defensive effectiveness. The resulting morphology represents a culmination of incremental changes that collectively produce one of the most effective survival strategies in the marine realm. The psychological dimension of the stonefish's deception is perhaps its most compelling feature. Predators and other reef inhabitants rely on cognitive shortcuts to navigate the overwhelming complexity of their environment. By mimicking inert substrates, the stonefish exploits these perceptual biases, effectively manipulating the decision-making processes of other organisms. This strategy underscores a broader principle in evolutionary biology. Survival often depends not on physical dominance, but on the ability to influence how others interpret sensory information. In this context, the stonefish transforms the assumption of environmental safety into a lethal vulnerability. As daylight fades and the reef transitions into the subdued tones of evening, the stonefish remains motionless, its presence concealed within the tapestry of rock and coral. Fish continue their routines, weaving through the labyrinthine structures of the reef, unaware of the hidden predator beneath them. The surrounding landscape appears tranquil, yet it harbors a silent enforcer of ecological balance. In this stillness lies the essence of the stonefish's strategy, a fusion of deception and consequence that redefines the relationship between organism and environment. The enduring image of the stonefish is not one of aggression or pursuit, but of quiet inevitability. It embodies an evolutionary philosophy in which survival is achieved by merging seamlessly with the environment and ensuring that any misinterpretation carries profound consequences. By weaponizing the assumption that the landscape is inert, the stonefish transforms the reef into a domain of hidden risk, where the boundary between living organism and geological feature becomes indistinguishable. In this subtle yet formidable presence, the stonefish stands as a testament to the power of deception in the natural world, a living reminder that the most dangerous threats are often those that remain unseen until the moment they strike. A drifting fragment of seaweed suddenly blinks. What appeared to be nothing more than a torn leaf, suspended in the gentle surge of the current, reveals a tiny, alert eye tracking movement with quiet precision. In that instant, the illusion fractures, exposing one of the ocean's most extraordinary survivalists. The leafy sea dragon does not rely on speed, venom, or armor to endure the relentless scrutiny of predators. Instead, it survives by dissolving into visual ambiguity, becoming so intricately entangled with its surroundings that it effectively escapes recognition. In a world where survival often depends on being seen first or striking fastest, this animal achieves safety by slipping entirely outside the predator's perceptual framework. Along the temperate southern coasts of Australia, vast underwater meadows of seagrass and drifting kelp create a habitat defined by motion and complexity. Sunlight filters through the water column in shifting ribbons, illuminating forests of swaying vegetation that bend rhythmically with tidal pulses. Within this dynamic environment, edges are constantly dissolving and reforming, shapes overlap, and movement is rarely linear or predictable. For most marine animals, such conditions present navigational challenges, but for the leafy sea dragon, they provide the perfect stage for disappearance. Its body is adorned with elaborate leaf-like appendages that extend from the head, trunk, and tail, creating a silhouette that mirrors the chaotic geometry of surrounding plant life. These appendages do not contribute to propulsion. Instead, they serve a singular and highly specialized purpose: the disruption of recognizable form. Predators in marine ecosystems often rely on a combination of visual cues, outline, contrast, and motion to identify potential prey. The leafy sea dragon dismantles each of these cues with remarkable efficiency. Its appendages fragment the continuity of its body, preventing predators from detecting the clean, symmetrical shape typically associated with fish. Subtle coloration, ranging from olive greens to golden yellows with mottled patterns, further blends the animal into the seagrass matrix. Yet it is the manipulation of movement that completes the deception. Rather than swimming with the purposeful strokes characteristic of most fish, the leafy sea dragon drifts and sways in synchrony with surrounding vegetation. Tiny, nearly transparent fins located along its neck and back generate slow, delicate propulsion, allowing it to navigate its environment without disturbing the illusion of passive plant matter. To a predator scanning the landscape, the sea dragon does not register as prey. It is categorized as irrelevant background noise. This strategy represents an advanced form of camouflage known as masquerade, distinct from simple background matching. While many animals blend into their surroundings by adopting similar colors or patterns, masquerade involves imitating inanimate objects that predators habitually ignore. The leafy sea dragon exemplifies this concept to an extraordinary degree. By resembling drifting seaweed rather than another living organism, it exploits the cognitive filtering mechanisms of predators. In complex habitats, predators must make rapid decisions about what is worth investigating, and objects that appear lifeless are often dismissed without further scrutiny. The sea dragon's survival, therefore, hinges not merely on invisibility, but on psychological manipulation, guiding predators toward the conclusion that it is not food at all. Despite its apparent fragility, the leafy sea dragon is a member of the family Syngnathidae, which includes seahorses and pipefish. This lineage is characterized by elongated bodies, tubular snouts, and a unique method of feeding that relies on suction. The sea dragon's snout functions as a highly specialized tool for capturing small crustaceans, such as mysid shrimp and planktonic organisms. When prey drifts within range, the sea dragon generates a rapid expansion of the buccal cavity, creating a vacuum that draws the unsuspecting organism into its mouth. This feeding mechanism is both silent and efficient, allowing the animal to hunt without betraying its position. Unlike active predators that pursue their prey, the leafy sea dragon relies on patience and precision, integrating its feeding behavior seamlessly into its broader strategy of remaining undetected. The effectiveness of this masquerade is further enhanced by the sea dragon's limited mobility. At first glance, its slow and seemingly cumbersome movement might appear to be a disadvantage. However, this reduced activity minimizes hydrodynamic disturbances that could reveal its presence. The nearly invisible fins that propel the sea dragon oscillate with such subtlety that they create minimal turbulence, preserving the illusion of passive drifting. This evolutionary trade-off highlights a fundamental principle of survival. In certain ecological contexts, restraint can be more advantageous than speed. By sacrificing rapid locomotion, the leafy sea dragon gains a level of concealment that dramatically reduces the likelihood of predation. Reproduction introduces another layer of biological intrigue, marked by a role reversal that distinguishes the species from most other vertebrates. During the breeding season, the female deposits her eggs onto a specialized brood patch located on the underside of the male's tail. This exposed arrangement, consisting of dozens of bright pink eggs, might seem to compromise the animal's camouflage. Yet the male's commitment to stillness and his continued integration into the seagrass environment mitigate this vulnerability. Over several weeks, he aerates the eggs through subtle movements and vascularized tissue that supplies oxygen, ensuring their development while maintaining the delicate balance between parental care and concealment. This reproductive strategy underscores the importance of camouflage not only for individual survival, but also for the continuation of the species. The leafy sea dragon's dependence on visual deception also shapes its interactions within the broader ecosystem. By remaining largely undetected, it occupies a niche with relatively low competition. Its diet of small crustaceans links it to the productivity of seagrass ecosystems, which serve as nurseries for countless marine species. In this way, the sea dragon contributes to the ecological stability of its habitat, participating in energy transfer while maintaining minimal impact on other organisms. Its presence is a testament to the intricate interdependencies that characterize marine environments, where even the most inconspicuous species play essential roles. A deeper examination of the leafy sea dragon's evolutionary history reveals the selective pressures that have sculpted its extraordinary morphology. The temperate waters of southern Australia are home to a diverse assemblage of predators, including larger fish and cephalopods capable of exploiting even subtle visual cues. In such a competitive landscape, individuals that more effectively disrupted their outline would have enjoyed a significant survival advantage. Over countless generations, natural selection favored increasingly elaborate appendages and refined behavioral adaptations, culminating in the remarkable form observed today. This process illustrates the power of incremental evolutionary change, where small modifications accumulate to produce profound functional outcomes. Yet the very specialization that ensures the leafy sea dragon's survival also renders it vulnerable to environmental disturbance. Seagrass meadows, essential to its camouflage and feeding strategies, are among the most threatened marine habitats. Coastal development, pollution, and climate-induced changes in water temperature and chemistry pose significant risks to these ecosystems. The loss of seagrass not only diminishes available habitat, but also disrupts the visual context upon which the sea dragon's masquerade depends. Without the intricate tapestry of vegetation that conceals it, the animal becomes increasingly exposed to predation. Consequently, the leafy sea dragon serves as an indicator species, reflecting the health of the temperate marine environments it inhabits. Another subtle yet significant aspect of the sea dragon's survival strategy lies in its sensory adaptations. While its visual deception targets predators, the sea dragon itself must effectively perceive its environment to locate prey and avoid threats. Its eyes are capable of independent movement, allowing it to scan a wide field of view without necessitating conspicuous body motion. This ability enhances situational awareness while preserving the illusion of inanimate drift. The integration of sensory vigilance with physical camouflage exemplifies the multifaceted nature of its evolutionary design, where every aspect of anatomy and behavior contributes to a cohesive survival system. The narrative of the leafy sea dragon challenges conventional assumptions about what it means to be a predator or prey in the marine realm. Rather than engaging in direct confrontation or rapid escape, it navigates the complexities of its environment through subtlety and deception. Its strategy reflects a broader ecological principle. Survival is not solely determined by physical strength or aggression, but by the capacity to manipulate perception and exploit the cognitive biases of other organisms. By existing in the margins of recognition, the sea dragon transforms vulnerability into resilience, demonstrating that invisibility can be one of the most powerful defenses in nature. As twilight descends over the seagrass meadows, the underwater landscape becomes a mosaic of shadow and motion. Among the swaying fronds, the leafy sea dragon continues its silent drift, indistinguishable from the vegetation that surrounds it. Predators pass nearby, their attention drawn to more conspicuous targets, while the sea dragon remains suspended in a state of quiet anonymity. In this delicate balance between presence and absence, the essence of its survival strategy is revealed. It does not intimidate or outpace its adversaries. Instead, it transcends the very categories by which predators interpret the world. The leafy sea dragon endures by becoming part of the scenery, a living embodiment of evolutionary ingenuity, where the ultimate defense is not to fight or flee, but to simply never be recognized at all. The water appears perfectly clear, an inviting expanse of tropical blue where sunlight penetrates effortlessly to the sandy seabed. Then, without warning, an unseen force transforms tranquility into catastrophe. A fish convulses mid-swim, its body seized by invisible threads that moments earlier did not seem to exist. There is no shadow, no approaching predator, no audible disturbance, only the sudden onset of paralysis. The cause is the box jellyfish, a creature whose most formidable weapon is not aggression or speed, but the terrifying illusion of absence. It survives by turning the ocean itself into camouflage, ensuring that danger remains undetected until contact makes escape impossible. In the warm coastal waters of the Indo-Pacific and northern Australia, where coral reefs give way to sandy lagoons and mangrove-lined estuaries, the box jellyfish drifts with deceptive serenity. At first glance, the environment appears open and safe, characterized by high visibility and gentle currents. Unlike the complex visual clutter of reefs, these habitats offer few hiding places for predators, making transparency an especially powerful adaptation. The box jellyfish's bell, shaped like a translucent cube, refracts and transmits light in a manner that renders it nearly indistinguishable from the surrounding water. Its trailing tentacles, sometimes extending several meters, resemble faint distortions rather than tangible structures. To prey and predators alike, the animal exists at the threshold of perception, detectable only when it is already too late. This near invisibility is not a passive trait, but the result of intricate biological specialization. The tissues of the box jellyfish are composed largely of water, with minimal pigmentation to interrupt the passage of light. Cellular structures are arranged to reduce scattering, allowing the organism to blend seamlessly into its environment. Yet transparency alone does not define its success. Unlike many other jellyfish, box jellyfish possess a degree of behavioral sophistication that enhances their predatory efficiency. They are capable of directed swimming, using rhythmic contractions of their bell to navigate through the water column rather than drifting aimlessly with currents. This mobility allows them to position themselves strategically in areas of high prey density, transforming what appears to be a passive organism into an active and deliberate hunter. One of the most remarkable features of the box jellyfish is its visual system. Embedded within specialized sensory structures called rhopalia are multiple eyes, some equipped with lenses, retinas, and corneas. These complex organs enable the jellyfish to detect light, obstacles, and even the silhouettes of potential prey. This capability represents a striking evolutionary innovation among cnidarians, a group typically associated with simple sensory mechanisms. The presence of such advanced vision allows the box jellyfish to navigate around mangrove roots and other structures, optimizing its hunting strategy while maintaining its deceptive invisibility. The paradox is profound. An animal that is nearly impossible to see possesses the ability to see with surprising clarity. The true lethality of the box jellyfish lies in its tentacles, which are lined with millions of specialized stinging cells known as nematocysts. Each nematocyst functions as a microscopic harpoon, coiled under immense pressure and triggered by the slightest mechanical or chemical stimulus. Upon contact, these structures discharge with extraordinary speed, penetrating the skin of the victim and injecting a potent cocktail of toxins. The venom contains proteins that disrupt cellular membranes, interfere with nerve signaling, and, in severe cases, affect cardiac function. For small fish and invertebrates, envenomation results in rapid paralysis, ensuring that prey cannot escape. Larger animals, including humans, may experience intense pain, cardiovascular distress, and systemic physiological reactions. This mechanism transforms the box jellyfish's transparency into a devastating offensive strategy, where the absence of warning amplifies the effectiveness of its venom. The hunting process unfolds with chilling efficiency. As the jellyfish propels itself through the water, its tentacles trail behind like nearly invisible filaments. When a fish inadvertently brushes against these strands, the nematocysts fire instantaneously, immobilizing the prey within moments. The tentacles then contract, drawing the incapacitated organism toward the mouth located at the center of the bell. Digestion begins externally through the release of enzymes before the partially broken down tissue is ingested. This sequence of events occurs so swiftly that the prey often has no opportunity to initiate an escape response. The success of this strategy underscores the importance of perception in predator-prey interactions. By eliminating detectable cues, the box jellyfish ensures that its victims are captured before they can recognize the threat. Beyond its predatory capabilities, the box jellyfish occupies a significant ecological role within coastal marine ecosystems. By regulating populations of small fish and planktonic organisms, it contributes to the balance of trophic interactions. Its presence influences the behavior of other species, which may alter their movement patterns to avoid areas of higher jellyfish density. Additionally, the box jellyfish itself serves as prey for certain specialized predators, such as sea turtles, which possess physiological adaptations that confer resistance to its venom. These interactions highlight the interconnected nature of marine food webs, where even the most formidable organisms are integrated into broader ecological dynamics. Reproduction in box jellyfish adds another layer of complexity to their life history. Like other cnidarians, they undergo a life cycle that includes both sexual and asexual phases. Adult medusae release gametes into the water column, leading to the formation of free-swimming larvae. These larvae eventually settle onto suitable substrates, developing into polyps that can reproduce asexually to produce multiple juvenile medusae. This dual reproductive strategy enhances the species' capacity for population expansion, particularly in environments where conditions are favorable. Seasonal fluctuations in temperature, salinity, and nutrient availability often influence the timing and scale of jellyfish blooms, which can have profound ecological and socio-economic implications. The evolutionary success of the box jellyfish is deeply rooted in its ability to exploit the sensory limitations of other organisms. In clear tropical waters, many marine species rely heavily on visual cues to detect predators and prey. By minimizing its optical signature, the box jellyfish effectively bypasses these detection systems. This strategy represents a form of environmental deception, where the organism does not mimic another species, but instead becomes an extension of the habitat itself. The resulting ambiguity forces other animals to navigate a landscape where danger is not signaled by conspicuous features, but by the absence of any discernible threat. Human encounters with box jellyfish further illustrate the potency of this survival system. Swimmers and fishermen often enter seemingly safe waters, unaware of the invisible hazards that may be present. The sudden onset of envenomation, characterized by intense pain and physiological distress, underscores the effectiveness of the jellyfish's strategy. These interactions have prompted the development of monitoring programs and protective measures in regions where box jellyfish are prevalent, reflecting the need to adapt human behavior to the realities of marine ecosystems. Such measures also emphasize the importance of public awareness and conservation efforts aimed at preserving the delicate balance of these environments. A broader examination of the box jellyfish's ecological significance reveals its role as an indicator of environmental change. Fluctuations in jellyfish populations are often associated with alterations in oceanographic conditions, including temperature shifts, nutrient enrichment, and the depletion of natural predators. As such, the study of box jellyfish dynamics provides valuable insights into the health and stability of marine ecosystems. Understanding these patterns is essential for predicting the impacts of climate change and for developing strategies to mitigate its effects on biodiversity and human communities. Despite its reputation as one of the ocean's most dangerous creatures, the box jellyfish embodies a form of evolutionary elegance, defined by efficiency and subtlety. It does not rely on elaborate displays or aggressive pursuit. Instead, it harnesses the fundamental properties of light and perception to create an environment where detection is minimized. This approach reflects a broader principle in evolutionary biology. The most effective survival strategies often involve the manipulation of information rather than the exertion of physical force. By transforming clear water into a deceptive veil, the box jellyfish exemplifies the power of absence as a defensive and predatory tool. As the sun begins to set and the surface of the ocean reflects the fading light, the box jellyfish continues its silent passage through the water. Its translucent form drifts almost imperceptibly, tentacles extended like delicate threads in a vast and seemingly empty expanse. Fish resume their movements, navigating the tranquil environment with no indication of the hidden danger that surrounds them. In this quiet tableau, the essence of the box jellyfish's strategy becomes unmistakably clear. Survival achieved not through confrontation, but through invisibility, where the ocean itself becomes both sanctuary and weapon. The final image is one of unsettling stillness, a reminder that in the natural world, the most profound threats are often those that cannot be seen until their effects are already unfolding. A slender ribbon of movement glides effortlessly through the warm coastal shallows, its motion so smooth and unhurried that it barely disturbs the surrounding water. A small fish continues feeding, seemingly untroubled by the approaching figure. There is no flaring of fins, no sudden acceleration, no dramatic display of threat. Then, in a fraction of a second, the calm dissolves into lethal precision. The snake's head snaps forward with surgical accuracy, and the fish convulses as venom begins its silent work. What appeared serene and almost indifferent is revealed as one of the ocean's most efficient predators. The sea snake survives not through intimidation or spectacle, but by embodying one of nature's most deceptive signals: composure. In the intricate tapestry of tropical marine ecosystems, where visual cues often dictate survival, many predators advertise their danger through bold coloration, aggressive postures, or formidable physical structures. Sea snakes defy this convention. Their elongated, streamlined bodies and gentle, wave-like movements project an image of tranquility rather than threat. This understated presence allows them to approach prey without triggering the rapid escape responses typically associated with more conspicuous hunters. By exploiting the tendency of marine organisms to prioritize sudden motion and dramatic silhouettes as indicators of danger, sea snakes transform subtlety into a powerful predatory advantage. The biological foundation of this strategy lies in their remarkable adaptation to life in the ocean. Descended from terrestrial ancestors, sea snakes have undergone profound evolutionary modifications that enable them to thrive in marine environments. Their bodies are laterally compressed, forming a paddle-like tail that provides efficient propulsion through the water. Valved nostrils positioned on the dorsal surface of the snout allow them to breathe at the surface while minimizing water intake during dives. Internally, a greatly elongated lung extends along much of the body, serving not only for respiration, but also for buoyancy control. This adaptation enables sea snakes to remain submerged for extended periods, often exceeding an hour, allowing them to hunt within complex underwater landscapes where prey may feel relatively secure. Despite their graceful demeanor, sea snakes possess venom of extraordinary potency. Specialized venom glands connected to fixed front fangs produce a cocktail of neurotoxins and myotoxins designed to immobilize prey with remarkable efficiency. These toxins interfere with neuromuscular transmission, leading to rapid paralysis and preventing escape in the confined spaces of reefs and seagrass beds. Unlike many terrestrial venomous snakes that rely on dramatic defensive displays, sea snakes typically employ their venom with precision and restraint, conserving it for hunting rather than confrontation. This selective use reinforces their reputation as animals that appear far less dangerous than they truly are. The hunting behavior of sea snakes is finely tuned to the ecological niches they occupy. Many species specialize in preying upon eels and small fish that inhabit burrows and crevices within the reef. Their slender bodies allow them to navigate these confined spaces with ease, probing hidden recesses that are inaccessible to bulkier predators. Chemoreceptive organs enable them to detect subtle chemical cues in the water, guiding them toward concealed prey. Once a target is located, the strike is swift and controlled, minimizing the risk of injury and ensuring efficient envenomation. This methodical approach contrasts sharply with the high-speed pursuits characteristic of many marine predators, further contributing to the perception of sea snakes as relatively benign inhabitants of their environment. A deeper layer of complexity emerges when considering the physiological innovations that support the sea snake's aquatic lifestyle. In addition to pulmonary respiration, many species possess the ability to absorb oxygen directly through their skin, a process known as cutaneous respiration. This adaptation enhances their capacity for prolonged submersion and allows them to exploit habitats where frequent surfacing might increase vulnerability to predators. Furthermore, specialized salt-excreting glands located beneath the tongue enable sea snakes to maintain osmotic balance in the saline environment, illustrating the intricate physiological adjustments required for successful marine existence. The narrative of deception extends beyond predation to encompass interactions with potential threats. While sea snakes are highly venomous, they are generally non-aggressive and rely on avoidance rather than confrontation. Their calm behavior reduces the likelihood of provoking defensive responses from other animals, including humans. Many bites occur only when individuals are inadvertently handled or threatened, reflecting a strategy that prioritizes energy conservation and risk minimization. This behavioral restraint underscores the evolutionary advantage of subtlety, demonstrating that the absence of overt aggression can itself function as a protective mechanism. Reproductive strategies among sea snakes further highlight their adaptation to the marine realm. Unlike most reptiles, many species are viviparous, giving birth to fully formed young in the water. This eliminates the need to return to land for egg-laying and allows populations to inhabit remote oceanic regions far from terrestrial environments. The transition to live birth represents a significant evolutionary innovation, facilitating the colonization of diverse marine habitats and enhancing reproductive success in dynamic ecosystems. Some species, however, retain oviparous tendencies and must periodically return to land, illustrating the evolutionary continuum within this fascinating group. The ecological role of sea snakes extends beyond their immediate interactions with prey and predators. By regulating populations of fish and eels, they contribute to the maintenance of balanced community structures within coral reefs and seagrass ecosystems. Their presence influences the behavior and distribution of other species, shaping patterns of habitat use and energy flow. Additionally, sea snakes serve as prey for larger predators such as sharks and birds, integrating them into the broader food web. This interconnectedness emphasizes the importance of sea snakes as integral components of marine biodiversity. An unexpected twist in the story of sea snakes lies in their sensory capabilities. Although their vision is adapted for underwater environments, they also possess a highly developed sense of smell facilitated by a forked tongue and Jacobson's organ, enabling the detection of chemical trails left by prey. Recent research has revealed the presence of specialized mechanoreceptors that allow sea snakes to perceive subtle water movements, further enhancing their ability to locate hidden organisms. These sensory adaptations complement their stealthy hunting strategy, ensuring that their calm exterior conceals a sophisticated system of environmental awareness. Human perceptions of sea snakes often oscillate between fascination and fear, shaped by their potent venom and enigmatic behavior. Yet these animals are typically shy and elusive, avoiding contact whenever possible. In certain regions, they have been inadvertently captured in fishing operations, leading to increased awareness of their ecological significance and the need for conservation measures. Habitat degradation, pollution, and climate change pose significant threats to sea snake populations, underscoring the importance of preserving the delicate ecosystems upon which they depend. As dusk settles over the coastal waters, the sea snake continues its silent patrol through the reef. Its movements remain fluid and unhurried, blending seamlessly with the gentle sway of the surrounding environment. Small fish navigate the seagrass beds, unaware of the predator's presence until it is too late. The absence of dramatic signals allows the sea snake to operate within a realm of underestimated danger, where calmness becomes a strategic advantage rather than a sign of vulnerability. The enduring image is one of deceptive serenity, a graceful form gliding through the water, embodying both elegance and lethal capability. The sea snake exemplifies the evolutionary power of understatement, demonstrating that the most effective predators are not always those that announce their presence with spectacle. By harnessing the misleading nature of calm behavior and combining it with potent chemical weaponry and specialized adaptations, sea snakes have secured a unique and enduring niche within the marine environment. In this subtle interplay between perception and reality, they stand as a testament to the profound ways in which evolution can transform tranquility into one of the ocean's most formidable survival strategies. A small reef fish darts confidently through a maze of coral, seeking refuge from the open water. Ahead lies what appears to be a safe passage, a narrow crevice carved into the reef, dark and seemingly lifeless. As the fish slips inside, the shadows suddenly animate. A pair of unblinking eyes materializes from the stone, followed by a lightning-fast strike. In an instant, the illusion of safety collapses. The cavity was never empty. It was the concealed threshold of a predator perfectly adapted to transform darkness into a weapon. The Moray eel survives by exploiting one of the reef's most dangerous misconceptions. That stillness and shadow signify absence rather than threat. Coral reefs are labyrinthine structures filled with countless holes, tunnels, and overhangs that provide shelter for a multitude of species. For many small fish, these spaces represent sanctuaries from open water predators. Evolution has conditioned reef inhabitants to associate darkness with protection, encouraging rapid entry into crevices during moments of danger. The Moray eel subverts this deeply ingrained behavioral assumption. Rather than hunting in the open, it embeds itself within the reef's architecture, transforming safe havens into lethal ambush sites. With its elongated serpentine body and reduced fins, the Moray is exquisitely adapted for life within these confined spaces, allowing it to navigate and occupy narrow cavities that are inaccessible to most other predators. Only the eel's head is typically visible from its hiding place, often mistaken for a static feature of the reef. Its mottled skin patterns mimic the textures and colors of surrounding rocks and corals, enhancing the illusion of inanimate stone. This camouflage is not solely visual but also behavioral. Moray eels remain remarkably still for extended periods, conserving energy while waiting for unsuspecting prey to venture within striking distance. The constant opening and closing of their mouths, frequently interpreted as a sign of aggression, serves a vital physiological function. Unlike many fish, morays possess relatively small gill openings and must actively pump water across their gills to facilitate respiration. This rhythmic gaping creates an eerie visual effect, reinforcing the ambiguity of their presence, neither fully concealed nor overtly threatening. The ambush itself is a masterpiece of biomechanical efficiency. When prey approaches, the moray launches forward with explosive acceleration, seizing its target with sharp, recurved teeth designed to prevent escape. However, the true ingenuity of the moray's predatory strategy lies within its throat. Unlike most vertebrates, Moray eels possess a second set of jaws known as pharyngeal jaws. These specialized structures, located in the pharynx, can be projected forward into the oral cavity to grasp prey and pull it deeper into the digestive tract. This adaptation is particularly advantageous in the confined spaces of the reef, where the eel cannot rely on suction feeding due to the resistance created by narrow surroundings. The pharyngeal jaws ensure that once prey is captured, escape becomes virtually impossible, transforming the initial ambush into a swift and decisive conclusion. The effectiveness of this dual jaw system extends beyond mere capture. By securing prey within the protective confines of its lair, the moray minimizes exposure to potential competitors and scavengers. This strategy allows the eel to exploit resources within a relatively small territory, reducing the energetic costs associated with active hunting. Furthermore, the structural complexity of the reef provides a stable environment that supports long-term site fidelity. Many moray eels establish and defend specific crevices, returning to the same shelter over extended periods. This territorial behavior reinforces the reliability of their ambush strategy, as the eel becomes intimately familiar with the spatial dynamics of its chosen habitat. An unexpected dimension of moray eel ecology emerges through their interactions with other reef species. Despite their formidable predatory capabilities, morays are known to engage in cooperative hunting with certain fish, most notably groupers. In these partnerships, the grouper initiates the interaction by performing distinctive headshakes near the Moray's shelter, effectively recruiting the eel for a joint hunting expedition. The two predators then exploit their complementary abilities. The grouper patrols the open water, while the Moray penetrates the reef's crevices, flushing out hidden prey. This collaboration increases the hunting success of both participants and illustrates a remarkable example of interspecific communication and mutual benefit within the reef ecosystem. Such behavior challenges traditional perceptions of predators as solitary competitors, revealing a more nuanced network of ecological relationships. The Moray's survival strategy is further enhanced by its sensory adaptations. Although their vision is relatively limited, Moray eels possess an acute sense of smell, enabling them to detect chemical cues released by injured or stressed prey. This chemosensory capability is particularly effective within the enclosed spaces of the reef, where water movement can concentrate scent trails. Additionally, mechanoreceptive systems allow the eel to perceive subtle vibrations, providing early warning of approaching organisms. These sensory mechanisms compensate for the low-light conditions of their habitat and ensure that the Moray remains an effective predator even when visual information is minimal. Beyond their role as ambush predators, Moray eels contribute significantly to the ecological balance of coral reef communities. By preying on a variety of fish and invertebrates, they help regulate population dynamics and prevent the overabundance of certain species that could otherwise disrupt the delicate equilibrium of the ecosystem. Their presence also influences the behavior of other reef inhabitants, shaping patterns of habitat use and movement. In this way, the Moray eel functions not only as a predator, but also as a key architect of ecological interactions within the reef. A further twist in the Moray's narrative lies in its relationship with cleaner organisms. Many Morays regularly visit cleaning stations where small fish and shrimp remove parasites and dead tissue from their skin and mouths. During these interactions, the eel adopts a posture that allows the cleaners safe access to its body, temporarily suppressing its predatory instincts. This behavior demonstrates a sophisticated balance between aggression and tolerance, underscoring the complexity of social and ecological dynamics in marine environments. The willingness of a formidable predator to engage in such mutualistic relationships highlights the interconnectedness of reef life and the evolutionary advantages of cooperation. Reproductive strategies among Moray eels add another layer of intrigue. Although direct observations are rare due to their secretive nature, it is understood that many species release their eggs and sperm into the open water, where fertilization occurs externally. The resulting larvae, known as leptocephali, are transparent and ribbon-like, drifting with ocean currents for extended periods before undergoing metamorphosis into juvenile eels. This pelagic phase facilitates wide dispersal, enabling Moray populations to colonize distant reefs and maintain genetic connectivity across vast geographic regions. The contrast between the sedentary adult lifestyle and the expansive dispersal of their offspring exemplifies the diverse strategies employed by marine organisms to balance stability with adaptability. The evolutionary lineage of Moray eels reveals a history of specialization that has refined their role as masters of the reef's hidden spaces. Their elongated bodies, reduced skeletal elements, and absence of pectoral and pelvic fins are all adaptations that facilitate maneuverability within narrow confines. Thick, mucus-covered skin provides protection against abrasion and potential pathogens, while also reducing friction as the eel navigates its rocky environment. These morphological features, combined with their unique feeding mechanisms and behavioral strategies, illustrate the intricate interplay between form and function that defines evolutionary success. Human interactions with Moray eels often reflect a mixture of fascination and misunderstanding. Their intimidating appearance and sudden strikes have contributed to a reputation for aggression, yet most encounters with humans are defensive rather than predatory. Bites typically occur when individuals inadvertently place their hands near an eel's shelter or attempt to feed them, prompting a protective response. Recognizing the ecological importance and behavioral nuances of Moray eels is essential for fostering coexistence and promoting conservation efforts within reef ecosystems. As daylight fades and the reef transitions into the subdued tones of evening, the Moray eel remains poised within its rocky sanctuary. The surrounding waters teem with life, yet the crevice it occupies continues to project an illusion of emptiness. Small fish navigate the reef's intricate pathways, guided by instincts shaped over countless generations. Some will pass safely, while others will misinterpret the silent cavity and venture too close. In that fleeting moment, the boundary between refuge and danger dissolves, revealing the Moray's true nature as both inhabitant and architect of the reef's hidden spaces. The enduring image is one of quiet menace, a motionless head emerging from the stone, jaws rhythmically opening and closing in a silent testament to the life concealed within the reef. The Moray eel embodies the power of ambiguity, transforming darkness and stillness into instruments of predation. By turning shelter into a facade of safety, it redefines the very concept of refuge within the marine environment. In this subtle manipulation of perception, the Moray demonstrates that the most effective predators are not always those that pursue, but those that patiently wait for the world to come to them, hidden in plain sight within the shadows of the reef. A seal resting on a drifting slab of ice senses only the gentle rhythm of the sea, unaware that the approaching swell is not a product of wind or tide, but a carefully engineered assault. Within seconds, the tranquil surface erupts as a coordinated surge of water shatters the illusion of safety, sweeping the seal into the waiting jaws below. This is not the work of a solitary predator acting on instinct. It is the result of deliberate planning, communication, and cultural knowledge. The orca, often called the killer whale, survives and dominates not merely through physical prowess, but through the ability to manipulate perception, turning the expectations of its prey into fatal miscalculations. Across the vast expanses of the world's oceans, from polar ice fields to temperate coastal waters and open pelagic realms, orcas occupy the position of apex predators. Their striking black and white coloration, powerful bodies, and towering dorsal fins make them among the most recognizable marine mammals. Yet beneath this iconic appearance lies a level of behavioral sophistication that sets them apart from nearly all other predators. Orcas are not simply hunters. They are strategists capable of orchestrating complex, cooperative attacks that exploit the sensory and cognitive limitations of their prey. Their survival is rooted in intelligence, social cohesion, and the ability to transform the environment itself into a tool of deception. Central to the orca's success is its highly developed social structure. Living in stable family groups known as pods, these animals maintain lifelong bonds characterized by intricate communication and coordinated behavior. Each pod possesses its own repertoire of vocalizations, distinct dialects that facilitate precise coordination during hunting and social interactions. This acoustic communication allows orcas to synchronize movements, share information about prey, and execute strategies that would be impossible for solitary predators. The strength of these social bonds also enables the transmission of knowledge across generations, creating cultural traditions that refine hunting techniques over time. One of the most striking examples of orca deception is the intentional wave-washing behavior observed in Antarctic populations. When hunting seals resting on ice floes, groups of orcas approach with remarkable subtlety, minimizing noise and disturbance. By swimming in synchronized formation, they generate a powerful wave that destabilizes the ice, washing the seal into the water. The effectiveness of this tactic relies on the seal's initial misinterpretation of the approaching swell as a natural phenomenon. Only when the coordinated surge becomes undeniable does the prey recognize the threat, by which time escape is no longer possible. This strategy exemplifies the orca's capacity to manipulate environmental cues, transforming ordinary ocean dynamics into lethal weapons. In other regions, orcas employ equally sophisticated techniques to exploit the behavior of schooling fish. By working cooperatively, they can herd fish into dense, compact formations known as bait balls. Some individuals create barriers to prevent escape, while others deliver powerful tail slaps that stun or kill multiple fish simultaneously. This division of labor reflects a level of coordination and role specialization rarely observed among marine predators. The success of these hunts depends not only on physical strength, but also on the orca's ability to anticipate and manipulate the collective behavior of their prey, effectively collapsing the geometry of escape through strategic positioning. The biological foundations of these behaviors are rooted in the orca's advanced cognitive and sensory capabilities. Possessing one of the largest brains among marine mammals, orcas demonstrate remarkable problem-solving abilities, memory, and social awareness. Their echolocation system allows them to perceive their environment with extraordinary precision, detecting the size, shape, and movement of objects even in complete darkness. This sensory acuity enables orcas to coordinate complex maneuvers and maintain spatial awareness during cooperative hunts. Additionally, their capacity for learning and imitation facilitates the transmission of cultural knowledge, ensuring that successful strategies are preserved and refined across generations. A particularly compelling aspect of orca behavior is the diversity of hunting techniques exhibited by different populations, often referred to as ecotypes. These groups specialize in distinct prey types and employ unique strategies tailored to their ecological contexts. For example, some orcas target marine mammals such as seals and whales, while others focus on fish or even sharks. The cultural transmission of these specialized behaviors results in populations with distinct dietary preferences and social traditions, effectively creating ecological niches within the species. This phenomenon underscores the importance of culture in shaping the evolutionary trajectory of orcas, highlighting their status as one of the most behaviorally complex predators on the planet. The orca's deceptive capabilities extend beyond coordinated hunting to include the manipulation of prey expectations through subtle behavioral cues. During certain hunts, orcas may adopt movements that appear playful or non-threatening, reducing the likelihood of triggering escape responses. This strategic ambiguity allows them to approach prey undetected until the moment of attack. Such behavior reflects an advanced understanding of cause and effect, where the predator anticipates how its actions will be interpreted by the prey. By exploiting these perceptual biases, orcas effectively stage their attacks in a manner that maximizes surprise and minimizes resistance. Beyond their role as predators, orcas exert profound ecological influence on the marine environments they inhabit. As apex predators, they regulate the populations of their prey, contributing to the stability and balance of marine ecosystems. In some regions, the presence or absence of orcas has been linked to trophic cascades that affect multiple levels of the food web. For instance, predation on marine mammals can influence the distribution and behavior of other species, ultimately shaping the structure of entire ecosystems. This ecological significance underscores the orca's role not only as a hunter, but also as a key architect of marine biodiversity. Reproductive and social dynamics further enhance the resilience of orca populations. Females experience extended lifespans and prolonged post-reproductive periods, during which older individuals play crucial roles in guiding pod movements and sharing ecological knowledge. These matriarchs serve as repositories of cultural information, ensuring the continuity of successful hunting strategies and migratory routes. The intergenerational transfer of knowledge strengthens the social fabric of the pod and enhances the collective ability to adapt to changing environmental conditions. Despite their formidable capabilities, orcas face significant challenges in the modern world. Human activities such as pollution, overfishing, and climate change threaten the availability of prey and the integrity of their habitats. Noise pollution from shipping and industrial activities can interfere with acoustic communication and echolocation, disrupting the coordination essential to their hunting success. Conservation efforts aimed at protecting orca populations must therefore address these multifaceted threats, recognizing the intricate connections between ecological health and the survival of these apex predators. The evolutionary journey of the orca reflects the interplay between physical adaptation and behavioral innovation, while their powerful bodies and sharp teeth equip them for predation. It is their intelligence and social complexity that truly define their dominance. By transforming environmental cues and prey expectations into tools of deception, orcas have achieved a level of ecological mastery unparalleled among marine predators. Their ability to manufacture opportunities rather than merely exploit them represents a profound shift in the dynamics of predator-prey interactions, emphasizing the role of cognition in shaping evolutionary success. As the ocean's surface calms after the dramatic wave that claimed its victim, the orcas regroup with an almost serene composure. The water once again appears tranquil, concealing the calculated precision that unfolded beneath it. In this quiet aftermath lies the essence of the orca's strategy, a fusion of intelligence, cooperation, and deception that transforms the natural rhythms of the sea into instruments of predation. The final image is one of silent authority, a pod of orcas gliding effortlessly through the water. Their presence a reminder that the greatest power in the natural world often resides not in brute force, but in the ability to shape perception and orchestrate the unseen. A ripple of sand suddenly rises from the seafloor, twisting into the unmistakable silhouette of a venomous sea snake. For a brief moment, nothing about the scene suggests vulnerability. Instead, it radiates danger. Yet beneath this illusion lies one of the ocean's most defenseless creatures, the mimic octopus. This startling transformation is not a simple act of camouflage, but a calculated deception, a survival strategy so sophisticated that it reshapes the very rules of predator-prey interaction. In an environment where hesitation can determine life or death, the mimic octopus does not merely hide. It rewrites the narrative of its existence, convincing predators that attacking would be a fatal mistake. The coastal waters of the Indo-Pacific, particularly the silty estuaries and shallow lagoons of Indonesia and Malaysia, form the stage for this extraordinary performance. Unlike the vibrant coral reefs that dominate popular imagery of marine life, these habitats are murky, unstable, and seemingly devoid of shelter. Visibility is often limited, and the seabed is composed of fine sediment that shifts with every current. For many organisms, such an environment offers little protection, but for the mimic octopus, it provides the perfect canvas for illusion. The subdued color palette and soft substrate allow its transformations to appear seamless, enabling it to emerge from the sand as entirely different creatures with astonishing credibility. Biologically known as Thormoctopus mimicus, this species possesses a suite of anatomical adaptations that enable its theatrical repertoire. Specialized skin cells called chromatophores allow rapid changes in color and pattern, while iridophores and leucophores manipulate light to create shimmering or pale effects that enhance realism. Beneath the skin, a dense network of radial and circular muscles gives the octopus unparalleled control over its body shape. Unlike animals constrained by rigid skeletons, the mimic octopus can elongate, flatten, or contort itself into forms that closely resemble other marine species. This combination of visual and structural flexibility transforms its body into a living illusion, capable of shifting identities within seconds. One of its most iconic impersonations is that of the banded sea snake, a highly venomous predator feared by many reef fish. When threatened, the octopus buries most of its body beneath the sand, leaving two arms extended in opposite directions. These arms adopt a sinuous, undulating motion while displaying bold black and white banding, convincingly mimicking the appearance and behavior of the snake. This deception is particularly effective against damselfish and other territorial species that instinctively avoid sea snakes. By exploiting pre-existing predator fears, the mimic octopus gains a crucial window of safety, demonstrating an evolutionary strategy rooted not in physical defense, but in psychological manipulation. Equally remarkable is its imitation of the lionfish, a species armed with venomous spines that deter even the most determined predators. In this transformation, the octopus spreads its arms outward and flattens its body against the seafloor, creating the illusion of radiating fins. Simultaneously, it adopts striped coloration that mirrors the lionfish's warning pattern. The effectiveness of this mimicry lies in its multimodal accuracy. Predators do not rely solely on visual cues, but also on movement and posture. By replicating these elements, the octopus crafts a deception that is convincing across multiple sensory channels, significantly increasing its chances of survival. Another frequently observed disguise is that of a flatfish. By compressing its body and gliding across the substrate with arms trailing behind, the mimic octopus resembles species such as soles or flounders. This transformation serves a dual purpose. Not only does it help the octopus avoid detection by predators, but it also allows it to approach prey with minimal suspicion. Small crustaceans and fish, accustomed to the benign presence of flatfish, often fail to recognize the impending threat until it is too late. In this context, mimicry becomes an offensive as well as defensive strategy, illustrating the versatility of deception as an ecological tool. The success of these impersonations depends on the cognitive and sensory abilities of the predators themselves. Many marine predators rely on rapid decision-making processes shaped by evolutionary experience. When confronted with the visual signature of a dangerous species, hesitation or avoidance becomes the safest response. The mimic octopus exploits this instinctive behavior, effectively hijacking the predator's neural circuitry. This interaction represents a sophisticated example of Batesian mimicry, where a harmless organism gains protection by resembling a harmful one. However, the mimic octopus extends this concept further by employing multiple models rather than a single fixed resemblance, making it one of the most versatile mimics known in the animal kingdom. Beyond its visual transformations, the mimic octopus demonstrates a level of behavioral flexibility that suggests a nuanced understanding of its environment. Observations indicate that it selects specific disguises based on the type of threat encountered. For instance, when approached by predators that are known to avoid sea snakes, the snake mimicry is more frequently employed. This context-dependent response implies a form of adaptive decision-making, where the octopus assesses risk and chooses the most effective deception. While it is unlikely that the animal possesses conscious awareness in the human sense, its behavior reflects a highly evolved neural system capable of processing complex environmental cues. The evolutionary origins of such sophisticated mimicry are rooted in the intense selective pressures of the Indo-Pacific's shallow coastal ecosystems. These environments host a diverse array of predators, including groupers, Moray eels, and cephalopod specialists, each with distinct hunting strategies. For a soft-bodied organism lacking protective armor or potent venom, survival demands innovation. Over countless generations, natural selection favored individuals capable of increasingly convincing deceptions. The result is a species whose primary defense is not physical resilience, but the ability to manipulate perception, effectively transforming vulnerability into strategic advantage. This reliance on deception also influences the mimic octopus's interactions with its prey. Unlike ambush predators that depend on stealth alone, it can approach potential meals under the guise of harmless or even intimidating species. By masquerading as a flatfish or other non-threatening organism, it reduces the likelihood of triggering escape responses. Once within striking distance, the octopus employs its dexterous arms and powerful suckers to capture prey with remarkable efficiency. This dual application of mimicry, both defensive and offensive, underscores its role as a comprehensive survival system rather than a singular adaptation. The ecological implications of the mimic octopus extend beyond its individual survival. By influencing predator behavior, it contributes to the complex web of interactions that define marine ecosystems. Predators that repeatedly encounter convincing mimics may alter their hunting strategies, potentially affecting the distribution and behavior of other species. Additionally, the presence of such a versatile mimic highlights the importance of biodiversity in maintaining ecological balance. Each species, whether predator, prey, or impersonator, plays a role in shaping the evolutionary dynamics of the community. A deeper examination of the mimic octopus's physiology reveals the intricate mechanisms that enable its rapid transformations. The chromatophore system operates under direct neural control, allowing instantaneous changes in coloration. Each chromatophore consists of a pigment-filled sac surrounded by radial muscles. When these muscles contract, the sac expands, revealing its color. This system is complemented by iridophores, which reflect light to produce iridescent hues, and leucophores, which scatter light to create white tones. Together, these elements form a dynamic palette, capable of generating an astonishing range of visual effects. Coupled with the octopus's muscular hydrostat, a structure that provides flexibility without skeletal support, these features allow seamless transitions between drastically different forms. The mimic octopus also exhibits remarkable locomotor versatility. It can crawl across the seabed, jet through the water using siphon propulsion, or glide with arms extended to simulate other species. Each mode of movement is carefully integrated into its disguises, enhancing their credibility. For example, The undulating motion used during sea snake mimicry closely matches the swimming patterns of actual snakes, reinforcing the illusion. This synchronization of form and movement demonstrates an evolutionary refinement that extends beyond mere appearance, encompassing the full spectrum of behavioral expression. Despite its extraordinary capabilities, the mimic octopus remains vulnerable to environmental change. Coastal habitats in the Indo-Pacific are increasingly threatened by human activities such as pollution, habitat destruction, and climate change. Sedimentation patterns, water quality, and prey availability all influence the viability of these ecosystems. As a species intricately adapted to specific environmental conditions, the mimic octopus serves as an indicator of ecosystem health. Its continued survival depends on the preservation of the delicate balance that sustains the rich biodiversity of these regions. The story of the mimic octopus ultimately challenges conventional notions of defense and survival in the natural world. Rather than relying on strength, speed, or toxicity, it exemplifies the power of perception and the evolutionary advantages of cognitive and behavioral flexibility. Its ability to assume multiple identities transforms the concept of camouflage into a dynamic and responsive system, one that actively shapes the interactions between predator and prey. This strategy highlights the profound influence of information and deception in ecological systems, where the interpretation of signals can be as critical as physical capabilities. As the silty waters settle and the illusion dissolves, the mimic octopus resumes its unassuming form, blending once again into the seabed. The predator, momentarily deceived, moves on in search of less enigmatic prey. In this quiet aftermath, the true significance of the encounter becomes apparent. Survival in the ocean is not solely determined by physical dominance, but by the ability to manipulate perception and exploit the instincts of others. The mimic octopus stands as a testament to this principle, embodying an evolutionary masterpiece where deception is not merely a tactic, but an entire way of life, a living demonstration that in the relentless theater of the sea, the most powerful weapon can be the art of becoming something else entirely.